Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two dumb Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 852 of the Two Dummies, and I like to say to everybody this morning, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Yes, this is Victory Monday. It was a good day. It was a good weekend for Pittsburgh for the most part. Very active, very, very active weekend for sports in the Berg. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they're heading back to the championship for the second time in 3 years. They get a big win over Rhode Island. Pittsburgh Penguins in Stockholm, Sweden, split the series with the Predators. The Pitt Panthers drop 1-2 Notre Dame in a nationally televised game. And, of course, your Pittsburgh Steelers guys breaking the schneid, getting back on the winning track, stacking their sixth win of the season, making their way to a 6-4 record, still in first place in the division, and a lot of things to talk about in this particular game, guys. I don't want to miss anything, so I hope that you brought everything today. Welcome back. Good morning. Great to see everybody. Yes. Mike's going. Mike is not here right now, as you can see. I don't. There's no mic there, but just keep tuned, because again, there was a little bit of issues, and I don't even know if it was totally show related, but he just kind of needed a little time to not do this during the morning hours for some time. I don't know what, maybe an hour, maybe a day, maybe a week. I don't know. The fact of the matter is, he's kind of taking a little mental health time, and he's going to be all right. He's going to be all right. So, good morning, everybody. I do want to say hey to everybody on the board. In Vegas, it's John Cena. John Cena is the special co-host. You can't see him. Let me see what's going on the board this morning, guys. Welcome back to the show. I'm glad to see everybody. It is Victory Monday. It is also Bears Week, the start of Bears Week, but we're not going to get into the Bears until tomorrow. A lot of things happened, not only for the Steelers, but in the NFL this weekend. I think that it was a good week to sit around and watch football for the weekend. It really was. I enjoyed myself. Good morning to Tortilla. Tortilla says, Vanilla Thunder. RB says, God, please, can we avoid the start of this Mason stuff again? It's never going to happen. And yeah, LOL. What's up, Phil? Phil, my man. He says, what up, Ryan? Boom! Vegas says, that's my jam. It's my jam, dog. Tortilla also says, Victory Monday, baby. Phil still says, yo, Ryan, got Finchie's panties in a bunch last night. I didn't catch. I didn't watch. Upset I didn't watch now. Tortilla says at RB, are we getting an update on Rodgers? I agree, but if Rodgers is hurt, we may be forced to start Mason. We do have a little bit of an update. Nothing fantastic, but it's a little update. As a matter of fact, I won't wait any longer on that. Aaron Rodgers has been getting his testing this morning, and he has a slight fracture in his left hand. He is fighting. He's pushing the play. Aaron Rodgers wants to play the Bears this week. That's what's going on right now. Of course, everybody knew that he got hurt yesterday. Mason Rudolph, he came in and played well. But from everything that I've gathered from this morning is he has been getting his testing, and he will be, he does have a slight fracture in his non-throwing hand, and he does want to play. He's pushing to play. So whether that happens or not, that is still to be seen. There's no media availability for the team today, but they will be back tomorrow, and Coach Tomlin will be doing his presser. Tomorrow we'll find out a lot more. So today we're just going to enjoy this game a little bit, have a little victory fun, get into this show, and let's keep moving on. Tortilla says, no, right here, Phil still says, yes, the stash is in. Let the stash grow, baby. Mason Mercury. Aaron Jade, what's up, bro? Aaron Jade says, here we go, Steelers. That's right, man. Back in it. We're back in this thing. I liked a lot of what I seen yesterday. When I take the thing as when I take the pie as a whole, that's when I see trouble. If you take yesterday and look at the game and see the improvements and the adjustments and everything they did to avoid Jamar Chase being the killer that he was in week 7, we did a lot of work, guys. And again, I will get into his numbers. I think he had like 4 catches on the day, nothing major by Chase. So that's, come on, compared to the last game, that is night and day. So a lot of stuff to get into regarding that. Vegas says, I wonder if crime goes down on Mondays after a Pittsburgh win. I bet it does. I bet it does. Phil still says the experiment is done. The stash is in. Let's see how it goes. And the stash has gotten dubs for the B&G. RB says Tortilla, he plans to go. Yes, I agree. Obviously, if there's a significant injury to Mason, or you play Mason, I'm sorry, but I'm sick of morons who think they are going to bench Rodgers, and discussing it just feeds the morons. Phil the Steel says this at Ryan. It's just another game. The Fluffy Bears are next. That's right, baby. The Fluffy Bears are next. Tortilla says, yeah, Mason did his job, and that's filling in when we needed him to. And one thing you got to say about this team, if we did anything right as far as putting this team together, it's certainly the depth. You know, look at the way that our quarterback stepped in. You break it down. I broke it down because there was a few injuries during the game, and early in the game you had Aaron, and you started Warren, and then later on injuries happened, and it was Mason Rudolph and Kenneth Gainwell. So I broke it down. I call it Team A, of course, your starters. They scored 10 points on offense. Then Team B, obviously Mason and company, they scored 10 points on offense. And then, of course, the defense puts up 14 points and trumps them both. But, Team B was able to hold their own and do basically the same thing that Team A did, and a little bit more smoothly, may I add. Say what you want. Mason doesn't look like the most natural quarterback in the world, and I think that's what my problem is with him. He's not the most natural-looking guy in the world when he plays quarterback. However, he went in and got the results on a call-in. I mean, he got called in on his day off, basically, and he picked up his pads, went in, and he played, man. And again, he matched what Team A was able to do. So again, what I like more from anything else that I've seen yesterday in that regards is the depth of this team. It just goes to show you that we've been injured so much that we've learned our lesson. It's tough to get through 17 games in the NFL. Certainly, you bring in this 3-headed monster on defense. One guy's out, the other guy's this guy. So one thing that we've certainly been able to do so far is put a nice team depth-wise together. We're in first place. We're not the best team in the world. And I got to be honest with you, I'm looking at the teams that are in the AFC playoff race. Too bad we just couldn't play a little better, because if we could, and we could take advantage and get into the playoffs. Hopefully, I don't think that this group of teams. It's not your Kansas City, Buffalo's, all these teams. For one, Buffalo will be there, but Buffalo, I mean, 6 touchdowns by Allen. I can't really say anything bad about him, but that's going to be the top dog in the bracket as of right now. It's Denver's 1, New England's 2, Indianapolis is 3. We beat 2 and 3. We're 4. Buffalo's 5, which is unfortunate, but that's just right now, guys. They are sitting in the 5 spot because they would be coming to Pittsburgh, have the playoffs start today. The Chargers, who took a big L yesterday, you know what? They deserve it. They messed with the terrible towel when we were out there. I caught wind of this, and you know what? They got it back 35-6. They lose. So, and then they lose to the number 7 team in the seeds in the AFC, and that's Jacksonville. So those 7 teams, guys, I'm not afraid of any of them, with the exception of Buffalo. Say what you want. They are still, come on, they got to be the strongest team in the AFC. Not as good as they were, but I do still think that they are the strongest team in the AFC. Kansas City sitting at 5-5 may not even, come on. At this point, halfway through the season, you're still sitting in that spot. This might just be what it is that Kansas City is this year. So again, we're going to enjoy Victory Monday. We're going to look at the good. We're going to enjoy the fine things that happened during the game yesterday. We're going to get into all of that. So many good things. To mention a couple. Spit flying through the air. We'll get into that shortly. Also, a couple big days by a couple players on the team. My new favorite Pittsburgh show, and I'm not even saying this because of what happened yesterday. I love Darnell Washington. I have always loved the freak, the player that's just so much bigger and freakier and awkward than everybody else. But he goes out there and he just dominates because of what he is. And that's him. I seen him. He's like he got the star on a video game, and he's running and he's blinking, and everyone's just bouncing off of him, like on Mario Brothers or whatnot. That's what he reminded me of. But I got to be honest with you. If you ask me today who my favorite Pittsburgh Steelers currently, I could very well easily be Darnell Washington. And a guy that is marking his way up the chart is a guy named Mr. James Pierre, a guy that deserves a lot of props for how he played yesterday. Kyle Duggar. A lot of things happened. So hang around, everybody. We're going to get into it. Good. I'm glad to see everybody this morning. Let me take a look at what's going on the board. Mark Malone, my man, he says we're in good hands with the Magnum at the helm. Jamal, what's up, bro? Jamal says, gang. Nice seeing you, my man. Always great seeing Jamal on the terrible board. Richard, what's up, dude? He says, happy Victory Monday. Phil still says, I definitely saw a different vibe with the stash on the field. Give the stash a shot. Tortilla says, I wouldn't mind if Rudolph starts, but it's just not going to happen if Rodgers is healthy. Vegas says, you don't have to be the best team right now. You're right. We just got to be. You'd still like to see the improvement, though. that's my big thing. I constantly, you want to see improvement from week to week, without seeing the 2 steps back next week. That's a big thing for me, because again, Indianapolis was it could have been such a big monumental game for us in a nice milestone. But the fact that we went out the following 2 weeks and shit the bed, that's the backslide. You can't have. Now, with this in mind, you have the Bears this week. This is a totally winnable game. They're a good Bears team. They're 7-3. And it's in Chicago, which we generally don't play good over there. But I think, if anything, this is a winnable game. And then Buffalo. So that's going to be big. So, again, we're going to worry about Chicago while it's in front of us, and then we'll worry about Buffalo next week. But still a lot of football left, guys. 10 games in, 7 games left. The Steelers sitting at 6-4 in first place in the division. The Ravens win to keep pace. They are still 1 game behind us in the division as they finally reach 500. The Browns and Bengals, of course, both lose as all the division teams play one another this weekend, and they continue to drop. We'll get into that Browns game and all those other games a lot more later, because there's a lot to talk about, certainly with the Browns game for sure. Smiles Carrots with all of his sacks, and Shedeur Sanders finally touching the field. A lot to talk about for a pretty shitty team, but we will get into that so much more later. Let me get back on the board. I don't want to leave anybody out on this Victory Monday, guys. This is a big day. For our Steelers. Let's see. I'm going to go right here. RB says Mason is absolutely. Did we get this? Absolutely fine as the backup and spot starter when teams actually prep for him over weeks. It's painfully obvious he's not an NFL starter. Nothing wrong with that. We've seen that like 3 times now. Yinzer Joe, what's up, brother? Always great seeing you on Victory Monday, especially Yinzer Joe. Yinzer Joe says this. Let's go ahead. of ourselves. Let's not get ahead of ourselves because Mason came in and didn't make a mistake over the bad Bengals defense. He is a backup and will remain unless Rodgers can't go. That's one thing we got to remember, too. It was the Bengals. Say what you will, we put up 32 and 34 points against them. I'm not saying anything bad about us or anything good about us. I'm just saying the fact of the matter is 2 games against them, you put up 30-plus points. That is the Bengals defense. So, again, that's why I'm not trying to get too overexcited. But, we've earned the right to be excited, I think, by what we were able to do yesterday, certainly because we lost the first time around. So that makes this one just all that more sweet. Aaron J says, how about that James Pierre? Guys, he was all it wasn't just a scoop and score, which was awesome. He was breaking up passes. He was making nice tackles. James Pierre looked like the best corner out there yesterday. He truly, honestly did. You got to hope, and again, consistency is in his vocabulary as well, the same as the team, because, again, what's one game if you come out next week and go back to what you were doing? Keeping motivated, I think, is going to be the key for this team moving down the stretch. John, my man, Big John Stud, middle name Mud, says this: the Rams are the team right now that is NFC, but AFC champs mean nothing to me. Vegas says Aaron owns the Bears in his career, 24-5 in regular season, 1-0 in the playoffs, but he's never been damn near 42. That's right. He'll be 42 years old in December. Speaking of which, where's Cody? Is Cody here today? I don't know. I don't see his name. Somebody grab my attention when Cody comes in. I got a bone to pick with him. He was on me Friday about this ASAP Rocky, this rapper. I didn't know who he was, right? So I looked him up over the weekend. I thought, you know what? I'm gonna learn it and find out who he is, listen to his music. The guy's 37 years old. I'm surprised I don't know who he is. The guy, the ASAP Rocky, is old enough to be my fucking dad for crying out loud. I thought he was like a young guy, one of these young rappers, but no, the dude is he should be AARP Rocky. So let me know if Cody gets in here. He had to give me some shit on that. So let's get back at it here, guys. Tortilla says, when Washington jumped through the air, I actually feared for the lives of the players he landed on. 300 pounds landing on your back is actually crazy. And you know what? That was awesome. It wasn't just him running through people. He was jumping over people. How can you not love this guy? Such a freaking nature. And when the third guy went to hit him out of bounds, whenever he broke that one play, he just flew off him. Like I said, like he had this blinking star on a video game and people were just flying off him. It was really awesome to see, man. It really, truly was. Let's move forward. Trevor Jones, what's up? I do want to say welcome to the show, Trevor. He says this, Mount Washington changed the attitude yesterday. That nasty rat got us heated. You ain't shitting, man. You ain't shitting. Steelers fans, everybody. He should be involved in a lot more. You know what? Refrigerator Perry his ass. Put him in the goal line and let him run the ball from the 1-yard line if you have to. Why mess around? He sure as hell ain't gonna let one guy take him down. Sometimes you get the ball inside the 5-yard line and there's already that guy in the backfield waiting for you with our offensive line sometime. I like to see him take on Darnell Washington one-on-one if he gets the chance. And then just lumber forward like a big tree in the woods. John says Washington looked like Andre the Giant yesterday against 3 midget wrestlers. Damn right, man. It was great. I loved it. It was a good game yesterday. You know what, it helps because it was the Bengals as well, division team, a team that beat us earlier, put a sour taste in our mouth. So it was nice to get out there and beat these guys, led by Joe Flacco. I still don't count them out entirely. I mean, seriously, they were saying during the game that they had the best offense since Joe Flacco's taken over in the NFL. Unfortunately, they went 1-3 in that period of time. That shows you how bad their defense truly, honestly is. Number 1 offense in the last month. They are 1-3. That's like looking at our defensive stats sometimes. Yinzer Joe says Kyle Duggar is definitely what the team needed on defense. Thornhill wasn't doing crap, but I do want to say this, guys. Juan Thornhill, he was signed back to the practice squad this morning. I figured it was to move players around. I know they didn't dislike him, but Juan Thornhill, as of this morning, is back on the practice squad, so he's on the roster. But you're not lying at all. Kyle Duggar, he's bringing what the early Minkah Fitzpatrick brought here. He's doing the things that Minkah did, but weren't doing anymore. So you know what? I'll take that 9 times out of 10. Vegas says this: Duggar dropped an interception to the house earlier, so he had to make the play up, and thankfully he did. I agree. Jason Atkins, what's up, bro? Great seeing you on the terrible board. He says Pierre's the best player of the game. You know what? He's my game ball. I'm going to give him my game ball today. And then there's some other players that could have got it, I think. But I think I'm going to give Pierre the game ball. Tortilla says Chase should have spit on his gloves. Maybe he'd catch the ball. Jason also says this. What I did like about Mason is he came in and actually threw the ball down the field into DK. I agree. You know what? Yes, absolutely. I'm glad he came in and threw the ball down the field. That opened things up. And, if he would have came in, they would have did the general, bring in the backup quarterback, run the ball, maybe a short pass on third down. They didn't do that. They were aggressive. And that's another thing I was saying yesterday. What was the difference between yesterday and week 7 was the aggressiveness. We weren't on our heels all game long. We weren't letting them dictate the game. We weren't chasing them all around the field. We took control of that game. We dictated that game. We turned it into an AFC North brawl. And Cincinnati had no answers. Let's see. Victory Monday is awesome. I'll take it. That's right, bro. Always glad to have you here, my man. Nice seeing you, Jason. John says Washington is going to get a special angry run award. He is. Remember, Najee was getting them extra special angry run awards when he was here. Mike Carr, what's up, dude? Always great seeing you on the board as well. He says, good win. No, I'm not fooled. We'll see the next 3 games for sure. Defense looks better. Offense, not so much. Phil the Steel says, Ryan, maybe Big Pimpin gave them another speech. When they look good, right? When they beat the Colts, they look good. When they beat the Bengals, they look good. When they lose to the Chargers, they look bad. Is there a happy medium? I don't know. I don't know. I do know one thing. When we get turnovers, we sure win football games. And we'll take them anytime. John says this, when Washington got up near the Bengals sideline, the players and coaches took steps back. They look like miniature. He's insanely large. I love him. I love Darnell Washington. I love him. He's like Eric Green, but like a lot more athletic. I mean, come on, the guy's jumping over defensive backs and unbelievable. I love Darnell Washington. Phil the Steel says, yeah, Pierre was on fire. I couldn't agree more, dude. Those are two of my favorite players from yesterday on top of Duggar. I think Duggar, Pierre, Washington, a lot of other things, good things happened throughout the course of the game, and we will get to those. But just off the top of my head, by the things that they were able to do through the course of the game were certainly were encouragement for me. But as I said on the board, we're not buying in fully yet. We're not maxing out our credit cards to get our Super Bowl tickets just yet, guys. We know we know the ebbs and flows of what goes on with the Steelers. And we're going to have to wait it out and see, because we got Chicago, and then we got Buffalo, and then we got Baltimore. The 3 Bs coming up, guys. Ravens, Bills, and Bears, oh my. 007, what's up, bro? Always great seeing 007. He says, I didn't spit on anybody. You know what's funny about that? There's about 10 things funny with this. And I'm not trying to be a dick, because I'm not a really smart person, but I'm smart enough to see when he says, I didn't spit on nobody. And I do know that using double negatives makes it a positive, which means I spit on somebody. So in his own kind of way, he actually said I did spit on him by saying I didn't spit on nobody. So again, I'm not trying to be that guy, but it was just an observation. And I did learn something in 8th grade English. I'm shout out to that. But we'll get into that here shortly, guys, as I have comments from Jalen Ramsey. And also, I think the tables might have turned, because, again, I seen the footage. And at first I seen it and I didn't see anything. But then they came up with footage that gets you really in there close to the face mask. And there was certainly spit flying. I recommend you to pull that up if you didn't, or you still are maybe in question if Jamar Chase spit in the face of Jalen Ramsey, because he certainly did. I seen it as clear as anything. There's spit flying from here to there, and it's there, believe me. And at first, I wasn't going to say I wasn't going to say that I seen it, because I didn't. I did. I seen it. There was spit flying, no questions asked. He deserves to be whatever the case is. I don't know what they do for spitting in the face, but it needs to happen, because it's not cool on any level of anything in life, whatever you're doing. Sports, you're wrestling with somebody. If you're when a couple guys fist fighting, one guy spits in the other guy's face, the other guy's going to freak out and punch, beat his head in. So, yeah, it's always something with Chase. Always something with Chase. Let's move on, see what's going on with everybody. Mike Carr also says, also been a Mason fan, thought he should have been Ben's replacement. Didn't think Tomlin likes him very much when Rodgers came and what he's done, but doesn't seem he'll be able to make the throws. He's just such an unnatural looking quarterback. I love him. God love the guy. That little freakish hillbilly with his stupid mustache. But he just looks so damn unnatural. And I said that from day one. I always said, look at him. Just look at him. He kind of, I don't know. But, he went out and got the throw, made the throws yesterday, and again, matched what the Team A, if you want to call them, did with their 10 points. Again, Team B put up 10 points as well. So do what you want with that, guys, against the same exact defense. But again, I'm agreeing with people on the board here. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine they'll go Mason if they can use Aaron. If Aaron's pushing and Aaron wants to do it and Aaron thinks he can and the doctor says, you know what it is, it's just a slight fracture, I think he'll play. But again, what I'm seeing from Mason is just the ability and the fact that we built for depth on this team. We really did. We built from depth. We built from as far as from the quarterback position all the way down. We're all about the depth. Offensive line still getting there, of course. We know that. But everywhere else, we got depth, and that's one thing it's been keeping us alive. With the injuries and all the bullshit that we had to deal with, that's certainly been something that's played in our advantage. And maybe into January as well, if other teams aren't built quite as good. Say Denver has a better record, they're playing well now. If they don't got the depth in January, that could play to our advantage and other teams like that. So I love what I'm seeing from the depth of this team and the fact that they keep us in the game and the fact that, again, they match what the Team A was able to do, I think was impressive. So let's move up a little bit here. Tortilla says the difference. I'm sorry. Jason says Mason sat behind Ben and Aaron. He definitely learned something. Absolutely. And the guy's not a dummy. You know what I mean? He's probably a really smart guy. I mean, with the mustache like that, right? Tortilla says the difference is Slay was left in the kennel. Listen, I don't hate Slay. I just want him to play a little better. Come on, dude. Merlin, what's up, bro? Always great seeing Merlin on a terrible board. Welcome to Victory Monday. I'm glad to see everybody this morning on this Victory Monday. Merlin says, sounds like Rodgers will play. That's good. That's what I'm hearing, man. Slight fracture, non-throwing hand, and he's pushing. He's pushing. That's the word that I read. They said that he's pushing to play, and he loves playing the Bears, and he has great success against the Bears. Not that actually means anything, but I do know that he's pushing to play. And again, this guy's here for 1 year, maybe, I don't know, maybe more, but he's going to get pretty much as you've seen what he wants. I just don't think that they're going to choose in favor of Mason while Aaron's here, and if he's able. That's all I'm saying. But I am saying that what I seen from Mason was somewhat encouraging, and I don't hate the fact that Mason is our depth right now. John says this. He says the Steelers didn't use Slay and Ramsey as one of the corners. Ramsey and Duggar at safety. JP and JPJ at corner was the difference. JP is playing really well right now. I thought so too. I thought James Pierre played out of his mind yesterday, and I agree. That was a big change between this and last game. What they do, they shadowed Ramsey on Chase all day, and they made those adjustments. They stuck him back in safety, and they got Duggar, of course, and then whatever we did, it worked. So guys, whatever your feelings overall about this team or the coaching, whatever it is, we'll put it aside because, again, this is Victory Monday. They made the adjustments. They won the football game because of it. And people were counting us down and out after last week's loss to the Chargers, which I can't blame them. So, let's move on here. Yinzer Joe says, does it seem to you guys that Tomlin and Smith overvalued? Oh, Jonnu Smith, please, this Jonnu Smith, can you do something that excites me? We're only 10 games in, bro. Do something. From what I understood was he was coming in to be a big part of this offense. 10 games into the season. Tell me one thing about Jonnu Smith that you like, not even love. One, just one. Jonnu Smith, when they traded for him, they keep trying to get him involved, but I don't see it. I just don't get it. I don't get it. The guy was an All-Pro last year. He went to the Pro Bowl, 85 catches. And it isn't that, you can say, well, okay, we have a lot of different targets, and we do. And I'm going to give you an interesting stat on that here in just a little bit. But The fact that he was supposed to be a part of the offense and a big part, and he's athletic and he's a tight end and he was an all-pro, the fact that he's doing literally nothing is discouraging to me. I don't know. Is he Eric Ebron 2.0? Is he, any of these other guys that we've been bringing in, the Robert Woods? Is this what we're going to get from him? I don't know. Of course, we did see no Juan Valdez-Scantling. We knew that. So we'll keep an eye on that and other things moving forward. And, of course, Asante Samuel Jr., another one we did not see yesterday, but I'm sure we'll be seeing him soon, especially as the competition starts getting tougher. Again, Buffalo in just 2 weeks, guys. And I'm not afraid of them Ravens either. Did you watch this Ravens game? Ravens and the Browns? I'm just not afraid of Lamar. I'm not. Because his power has always been his legs. He don't run anymore. I mean, he's getting older. He's had injuries. He's mega rich. I mean, come on, once you get mega rich, I'm sure the thrill of getting hit hard by professional athletes, might fall to the wayside at some point. I'm watching the game yesterday. I seen a couple plays against Cleveland where he could have took off and it could have been, it made a difference in the game. He just doesn't. He does sometime, but it's not the same. I'm not afraid of him. I won't be afraid of him in 3 weeks. I won't be afraid of him in 7 weeks because we do get them twice, guys. Let's move on the board. Jason says, "Where's your partner?" My partner's taking a couple days. He's taking a few days off. Little time. I don't know what it is. It could be a couple hours. It could be a couple days. It could be, I don't know. But he is taking a little time off for himself, and I wish him the best and hope that he gets back soon. Vegas says this. Thanks for asking. Vegas says this. So technically, he didn't lie. No, he didn't. He didn't lie. He says, I didn't spit on nobody, which means I spit on somebody. Again, I don't want to be that guy. I have never been that guy. I mean, to a degree, I've been that guy, but come on. He technically ratted himself out. But yes, again, today I seen the DNA flying through the air. I might as well have been watching Ron Jeremy, the DNA flying through the air in this. Again, once you get that close shot, you certainly see that there's spit flying through the air. Jamal, man, he says this. He says, man, where's Mike? Tell him to get his black ass back on here. We love you, bro. He knows that, man. He just needed a little time. A little, come on, I worked him for 850 straight shows. I can't blame him. Plus, he put up with me for 850 shows, so I can respect that. Give him a little mental time, a little time to compress. He'll be fine. John says this. I like Mike's willingness to take a hit in the pocket and think he is a better option than Rodgers. Oh, I like Mason's willingness to take a hit. Right? He does take a hit. As I said, he knows how to be a good quarterback. Whether he could go out there with his awkward self, and make it happen, I don't know consistently. But again, from being behind Ben, from being behind Aaron Rodgers, the guy's been in the organization forever. I've never seen any indication he's a dumb guy. So he should know how to play the position. There's just a certain awkwardness that Mason that I just have always been uncomfortable with. It's hard to put my finger on even what it is, but there's a certain uncomfortableness. Like I said, maybe it's just the not fluency of his. I don't know. But with that being said, Team B did go out there and match Team A in scoring. So we're gonna roll with that today because that is the narrative. Is a big Steeler win victory Monday, guys. Welcome to the show. Yeah, welcome back, everybody. Merlin said this. So did you graduate 8th grade? LOL, just kidding. You just said, no, you're totally good, dude. It wouldn't be the first time. Wouldn't be the first time I was asked if I graduated 8th grade or not. Mark Malone says this. Ramsey should be paid on apology fee by the. You know what? There should be something. Bro, dude spit in dude's face and you threw him out. Like, well, listen, this is. I'm going to give you an example. I've been wanting to bring. I had reason to bring this up. A couple weeks ago, we were at the studio, and I borrowed Mike's car to run downtown. And when I was downtown, the cops pulled me over because Mike had a headlight out. Now, when I was younger, the cops would pull up beside you, and they'd roll the window down, and you roll it down. You're like, "Hey, buddy, your light's out, whatever." Thanks, man. You get it taken care of, and you move on with your life. And I sat there with him. So he pulled me over, and it wasn't that way this time. I sat there, You get all the headlight. I mean, come on, it's like a fucking airport with these lights. The red lights are blinking. The spotlight is blinking. The blue lights are blinking. Then they come up with that big ass flashlight that's got to be the biggest flashlight I've ever seen in my life. They're shining that shit in my eyes. I had a headlight out. Did I mention that? So then he comes up to the car. You know, Mr. Personality. I see your license. I said, for what, man? He says, you have a tail or a headlight out. I was like, oh, my fault, man. And Mike's car has license plates from the neighboring state. So the cop goes, are you from there? And I said, no, I live right, I'm right up the road. What? What's wrong? What's the matter? I got a tail light out, dude. And he takes my license and he goes back to his car. And then the other patrol cars pull up. There was 3 fucking cop cars. Bro, my headlight was out. So they're circling my car like a bunch of Nazis. Finally, he comes back after, I don't know, what, 7, 8 minutes. Hands me my thing. No apologies, no nothing. Well, the fact of the matter is I didn't do anything wrong. Hey, make sure you get that fixed. You know what? And when I was making the comment last week about cops always have something stupid to say, this is kind of where it was stemming from. Because for one, F you. Whatever happened to rolling up to somebody and say, yo, your lights out? Dude, they put me through, you know what I'm saying? And he do this to everybody, and I know they do. So it's not just me, but I don't know. That's my point. A simple apology could have been nice. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. What could happen? What should happen with this league? I think that there should be certainly a public apology because, for one, no guy should be speaking in another grown man's face. That's fucking retarded. Why? Why would you even do this? And for two, we got thrown out. Our guy got thrown out. So there should certainly be a public apology by the league and a public apology by the player. Because again, I did see the DNA flying through the air as it was like porn. It was, and I saw it. It was, like I said, pull it up. They got really good video right now that you could do and confirm the same thing. But again, yeah. Let me find out where I'm at on the board. I thought, you know, you wasted 20 minutes of my time. For what? Because I had an out headlight? You dummy. You big dummy. And then they stand behind you with that weird angle with that light in your eye. Like, what the fuck? You know, are people fucking animals? You stupid ass. Yeah. You know. All right, let's get back out of here. I'm going to find, okay, there we go. RB says, I actually seen TJ decide to drop into coverage a few times on the plays where he has an option to do so. I had a heart attack, but still seen 5 to 8, 10 loop rushes that got us gashed. And I got to say this, say what you want. I like the TJ and Smiles Carrot rivalry as much as the next guy. But Smiles Carrot really fucking tore up yesterday, man. He had four sacks in the first half, and get this, 10 sacks in the last 11 sacks in the last 4 games. I just wish he would go somewhere else and do that. Why be a Brown? It's come on. 11 sacks in 4 games, 4 Myles Garrett. That's insane. Mark Malone says, and so should the Steelers. Jamal says, laugh my ass off. That stash. I want Howard. I like to see Howard at some point too. Especially, listen, guys, if we get to the point where we hit that slide and we lose to Buffalo and we lose to Detroit and we lose to Baltimore and we really fall into the shithole, I'd like to see some Will Howard too. Again, the guy didn't get any snaps in preseason due to injury. I as a fan would like to see a little bit of Will Howard. Just, again, you get a vibe. You guys watch football as much. We all watch football a lot. We've watched it for a long time. We're fans. We know the game. When I see Mason, he's unfluent, and I want to see. I'd like to just oversee what we're getting with Will Howard. Just as fans, we know what to look for. We're watching for things, and I just certainly like to see him in a little game time experience. That's all I'm saying. I'm not calling for Will Howard to run the team or take over right now or anything of this nature. But again, I don't think we're being crazy by asking. Just take a little look at Will Howard, especially if that be the case. If we're not in a position to close out the season in a good spot, whatever. But we'll talk about that a little bit more as we do go. Tortilla says this: Mike is tracking Chase down so he can spit on him. Maybe that's where Mike is. Maybe Mike is tracking Chase down. Let's see. Jamal says, let the old man rest. And when you say old, you do mean old, Jamal. Merlin said Mason looks like Freddie Mercury. Yes, he does. He looks like Mason Mercury. I couldn't not help but call him that during the game yesterday. He's when the mustache came back a couple years ago, he's the only one that kept it. Paul Skeens came and he had the mustache, and everybody had the mustache. Aaron Rodgers had the mustache for whatever reason. Mason Mercury kept his mustache. Let's see. Titus, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Titus Kitchen on the terrible board. Titus says this: Rudolph played. We'll let Rodgers heal in a few weeks. And you know what? If that be the case, that'd be the case. And again, I guess Chicago might be the team that I'd want to have that to happen to. If I had to pick one of these teams that are coming up in the next 3 weeks. Titus says, go Steelers. That's right, baby. Oh, slid a little bit here. John says, I want Mike to come back. Well, you know what? let me see what I can do. Let's see. I might be able to appease some people, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to appease everybody. But I thought of this, guys. I knew that you guys would miss Mike, so I thought there'd be no better way than to have Mike stop by and visit us on the show today. Mike, how you doing, man? Hey, what's up, man? Lot Lizards, yeah. Hey, what's up, man? Always great to see you, Mike. Glad to see you're feeling a little better, and glad to see you back on the show. I know that everybody's been asking for you, and everybody certainly misses you, and they can't wait for you to return to the show. And we hope things are going well for you. Yeah, man, everything's great, man. I'm gonna go probably eat something, and then I'm gonna go probably make some coffee, and then I'm gonna probably. Oh, I'm just so tired. Mike? Vanilla, he'd be passing out sometime. Vanilla. All right, I think we lost Vanilla for a while, but there he is, guys. Vanilla Thunder. I came well prepared. There you go. Let me get back on the board. Big Pun says, I seen enough of Mason Rudolph through the years. I've seen enough of Mason Rudolph through the years to not get excited. He's a red zone interception waiting to happen. I agree. I agree. That's what I'm saying. I don't hate him, but I don't love him. Believe me. Nothing about Mason that I love. Jamal says, why can't right? Jamal, right? Anything, something, cook, clean, do anything. Line from Friday. But, I would love to see Jonnu Smith get involved. He was supposed to be such a big part of what it is we're doing. The whole tight end experiment. The Arthur Smith, come on. I listen, 85 catches last year in the Pro Bowl for Jonnu. Cause I literally haven't seen one thing from that I love. There's nothing. He doesn't really do anything well. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't have what to say about it. I don't. He just he doesn't make plays. Jamal says, I blame Arthur Smith for the lack of production for job. Probably. And you know what? You're right. And there's a lot of guys that I think that I would go that route as well, too. And, we're finally starting to see a little bit of Roman. What's up with Calvin Austin, guys? What's your opinion on him? Pretty non-existent once again. I mean, he's the number 2 receiver, if you technically want to talk about it. Brown should have won that game, dude. I agree. I was rooting for him, and it was one of them situations. Like we all had Baltimore on the board just because, or on the picks because I wanted Cleveland to win, and the fact that everybody picked Baltimore, I would have been cool with Cleveland winning because nobody would have gained advantage on that. But I agree. I think Cleveland could have won. Their defense is legit. It really is. Big Pun says, John, who 88 catches Pro Bowl season was anomaly. His other 7 seasons were 30 catch, which is who he is. Gotcha, my man. I didn't know that. I just got all the hype from last year, I guess. Jamal says, I just said that about high-paying contracts. Once you make $100 million, you start to reevaluate your price. Absolutely, dude. These people are human beings. Give me $100 million. I'm probably going to be a little bit more comfortable in my life than I was when I was fighting and sacrificing and everything else to get my position in the league. You know, these guys got to give it all, and then you get 100 million. I don't care who you are. You're fucking human. You're not. You don't have the same want to get smashed and smash people. Most people, I wouldn't think. Some people, I'm sure. And I don't think it goes the whole way across the board, but I think that's a pretty safe assumption. Titus says Rudolph is a good backup quarterback. Hopefully Rodgers doesn't miss a game. As I'm seeing, like I said, right now, Titus, it looks like Rodgers is pushing. The word they're using is pushing to play on Sunday against the Bears with the slight fracture in his non-throwing hand. So you know what? We could very well see him maybe have a cast on, something like this. John says this, BP DK isn't earning his bank either. I can't lie. I mean, you know, when he makes a good play, he makes a good play, but there's a lot that leaves left to be desired in between with DK. And I'm not, listen, we didn't lose, so I'm not going to complain about this. And I generally don't. But boy, is the refereeing getting terrible in the NFL. Boy, is it bad. Was the left tackle offside every single play, or was it just me for Cincinnati? Either that or he has the best jump on the ball every fucking play. The dude was moving before the ball every play on the left side of that Bengals line. There was plenty of penalties these past 3 weeks that weren't called, and the ones that were called. Again, I'm not complaining. We didn't lose. Nothing was this fault. Whatever. But boy, the refereeing has been terrible in the NFL the past couple of years. I don't know what's going on. It's very sus in my opinion. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. Some penalties make no sense at all. Other penalties, they make all the sense and they don't get called. Yo, Jamal, Big Pun says. Jamal says, just let Mike know he's the GOAT. I sure will. Jamal says, laughed my fucking ass off, took the money shot. Yinzers says, I think Lamar Jackson is still hampered by his knee and hamstring injury, which was made the Ravens beatable. You know what? In my opinion, listen, that Ravens defense is not that good. Cleveland, only 16 points, but still in a close game like that, Cleveland was moving the ball, and Cleveland has not got a good offense. And I agree. If they didn't have Derrick Henry, that team is not the same thing. He's saving the day. It's not Lamar's legs anymore. It's certainly not in the game that I watched anyway. I don't watch a lot of Ravens games per se, but when I do watch, it's not them legs, and that's what scared me about him in the early part of his career. I'm not scared of Lamar. He's probably 3 times yesterday he could have took off and got huge gains. He stayed in and threw the ball, and if that's what you're coaching to do, that's fine. But you're taking the guy's legs away, and for whatever reason, as we talked earlier, I don't know, but just not the same guy. Not the same guy to me, and I'm not afraid of him as I was early on in his career. Big John says this, or Big Pun says this at John. No, he isn't. Also, Jamal says, what up, Big Pun? John, Ryan's mommy couldn't last 8:50. No, she sure couldn't. She had me out of the house by 11. Mike is a saint. Gang. Mark Malone says we need to see more productive offense with Magnum and Johnson. And seeing Johnson getting some nice games was nice. Gainwell had a nice game. We're going to get into the numbers and everything here in just a second. Let me get through some more messages of guys. Again, today, Victory Monday. I don't want to leave anybody out. This is a special day. We needed a good day as Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I think we'd agree here in the show, just in general. I think that we needed this, guy. So let's enjoy it. Let's try the good mood thing out this week. Let's see how that flies. Mark Malone, the fucking lights they get going or no. Come on with all these lights. And I talked to my buddy, and he's like, well, they do that to disorient you. Dude, I had a headlight out. They're disorienting me. I didn't fucking kill anybody, weirdos. They want to disorient me? Motherfucker. Princess says too many blacks on this team. I don't know what that's referring to. Princess, I do want to say welcome to the show, but moving forward, Lamar Jackson, no. Vegas does the hand over the face. Jamal says laugh my ass off. Mark Malone, LOL. I take it that maybe Jamal may know Princess. Perhaps. I don't know. Just by what I'm reading, it appears that he may. John says it was a dead body smell in Mike's trunk if that tipped him off. Now, there's some smells coming from his car, believe me, but I don't know if it's a dead body. cheeseburger remnants, pizza pieces, fries between the seat. Oh, the whole thing. This cop right thought I was a slob. Big Pun says this: we get a pick six, a fumble six, and all of a sudden Mason is the answer. Nah, fool's gold. I agree, man. I agree. The fact that he was able to come in and be a sustainable backup, I think, is the big thing we should take away from this. The fact that he's able to come in and not fuck up immediately as a young, unknowledgeable backup quarterback, I think is a positive for us. The fact that we should say, you know what, if it comes down to it, and we need to not use Aaron Rodgers because of an injury, he's not having it, and we need Mason. What I seen yesterday was encouraging. Beyond that, for me, that's about it. I don't think that there's going to be any debate, nor do I think that there should be a debate at this point, or controversy, or whatever you're going to call it. But what I did see was encouraging because, again, if he does have to step in, at least he's somewhat knowledgeable and he could play the game of football. Again, we've seen backups in this league to get in there and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. The ball is flying out of their hand as they go to throw it. It's just that's not the case with him. So that's a good thing. RB says, I always support the police, but I wish they would stop the fucking road pirate shit. Your monthly and that's what it was. It was right at the end of the month. It was right at the end of October was when that happened, and I knew it's what it was. Fucking stupid. He says, fuck your monthly quotas for absolute dumb shit. Go focus. Exactly. As he has all of his high beams put on me, there's fucking crime going on somewhere in this town, dude. Pull yourself together. It's a burnout headlight. Something that I literally didn't even know was even happening. Fucking weirdo. Mark Malone says should be a fucking monetary apology. Jamal, I don't disagree in a sense, and he says I feel like we're pretenders. I haven't seen much that makes me think that we're gonna play great football in January. The thing that's getting me by is it's just an ugly season and nobody looks great. And what kind of year for a team like the team that we are would be better than a year like this? And that's my, maybe, just maybe, if we could get into January, not have to play Buffalo in the very first game, and maybe Buffalo could get knocked off by New England or something, and we could play New England, which is a team that we could be, So again, that for those reasons, that's what's keeping the motors going, Jamal. It really feels like it's nobody else is running away with this thing. I said, again, with what you've seen from Josh Allen yesterday, 6 touchdowns is certainly very impressive. But at the end of the day, they're losing the teams, every other week that they shouldn't lose to. So, that's something as well. Let's see. We're going to go right here. Yinzers Joseph, sorry, I still don't believe in Rudolph, but you believe in Santa. We've seen it. Yes, he manages the game, but he will turn the ball over. If we make the playoffs, Rodgers will make the right call. And Reeds to maybe win. John says, I'm sure the NFL will commit that 2 wrongs don't make a right. Chase is going to get fined and miss a game. Field of Steel says Bungle should get fined and suspended 4 games for that. Bull, NFL got to make an example of him. And for sure. I mean, think back in the day. Guys, remember when Romanowski spit in T.O.'s face? Come down hard on him. You don't spit in another man's face. What the fuck is wrong with these people? You got to come down hard on it, no matter who it is. If it's the GOAT, if Tom Brady spit in somebody's face, I sure hope that they would, make sure it was taken care of the way it should be with everybody else. I don't care who you are. Come on. Go right here. Big Pun says Rudolph has too many chances. Fans need to stop with this. Mason never got a shot nonsense. He's proven to be a turnover machine. I agree. I don't love him, but again, what I seen was encouraging in the depth sense, and that means something. Again, he could have stepped in yesterday and shit the bed. He didn't. He put up 10 points. Let's just say we didn't score 14 points off of turnovers yesterday, and it was a closer game, and an interception was thrown. Those things could certainly happen. But again, the fact that he came in, he was able to match what it was our offense was doing, and keep the ball kind of rolling in that sense, I think is encouraging. I like that. Phyllis still says we know it's going to be just another standard season, so let's just go give the stash a shot. What's there to lose? I mean, the thing is, Aaron's winning. We're going to win more football games. You know what I mean? We're going to win. Aaron's going to be back here, and the guy's throwing more touchdowns than we've seen here in many years. Like or hate what you see from the guy. I mean, yeah, he's not great at this point in his life, obviously. He's going to be 42 next month. But at the end of the day, the guy has, 18, 19 touchdowns on the season. When was the last time we could – that's a good thing. Again, where are we at if we don't have that particular production? So for what we have right now, I guess this is the best we could do. And if it gets down the road and we're in different situations, we're missed the playoffs, we're out, this, that, and the other, then I think you could start talking Will Howard and maybe even a little bit more Mason. But right now, I like Mason to depth. I still like Aaron, finding the end zone. That's a huge plus, guys. Again, we can admit that this isn't a great team in its entirety. We've got a pretty good team, and we're finding ways to get wins, but still a lot needs to be had. Maybe that's a franchise quarterback coming in April. Who knows? We will find out. RB says, oh, Lord, now the Howard shit again. I am pulling for the kid, but for fuck's sake, we're not going to start a 6th-round rookie for no reason whatsoever for shits and giggles mid-season. Yeah, I could agree. With that. Vegas says Rudolph had 3 games with 0 interceptions when he saved Christmas a couple years ago. He had a nice run. There's no two ways about that 3 games. Matter of fact, Mike reminds me of that 3 games every time his name comes up, believe me. I'm like, Mason Rudolph. He's like, yeah, but he won those 3 games. He's not wrong. He was able to pull that off. Jen, what's up, Jen? Always great seeing Queen Jen on the board. RB, only in Pittsburgh does a 6th round is 1,000% sure Tom Brady. Vanilla, Jamal, let's see, Lot Lizards. John Mason won 3 games in 2023. He never threw for over 300 yards or 3 touchdowns. Then they lost to the Bills in the playoffs. I believe fans are so desperate for a decent quarterback player. They are hoping. I think that too. I think we are very, very desperate for good quarterback play because we had 20 years of great is our own. This is hard. We're not spoiled. We're just, come on. What's up, Kenneth? Always great seeing you, dude. My man on the board, Kenneth. Hope you're enjoying the Victory Monday as everyone seems to be. Thanks, Jen. I appreciate that. Classic, John. Excuse me. Vegas says he had 290 and 2. That's pretty good. Kenneth said Mason is 500 season guy. He did good, though. Again, I'm encouraged for backup reasons, for depth reasons. I have no complaints about him. Phil Steele says that Jen, boom, Tortilla has Roger Stone for over 300 yards this season. I don't know. Did he, guys? 300? I think so. Is Calvin Austin? Is that what's going on with Calvin? A couple other injuries yesterday. We didn't get the full extent on Jalen Warren. He left with an ankle, and Jalen Warren did return to the game, and then he left the game again. So that's certainly one we're keeping our eye on. Again, of course, today the Steeler media is not available, but they will be tomorrow. And we'll be getting a scoop on the injury list, guys, as we do know that Jalen Warren did go out, guys, with that ankle. So I'm very curious to see what's going on with him. And then also the official word on Aaron. But the word is right now on Aaron is that he has a slight fracture in his non-throwing hand, and I know that he's pushing. He is pushing, guys, to play against Chicago. I'm going to take a couple of minutes from the board. Let's get to some stuff. Let's get to numbers, fun things like this, facts, guys. We'll get back to all and everyone's comments in just a moment. Let's get to some things here that I certainly want to talk about. Some points, guys. The Steelers, they win 34-12 against the Bengals. Matter of fact, that is the first time ever the Pittsburgh Steelers have played in a 34-12 football game. They've never had that score in the history of the team. So kind of interesting, but they did win 34-12. They improved to 6-4 on the season. Let's take a look. I don't know where I want to go. Oh, this is where I want to go. Cam Hayward. Give Cam props, guys. They did mention it on the show or on the game yesterday. Cam Hayward passed Mike Webster for second all time. He passed Mike Webster. He has 221 games played as a Steeler. Next on the list is number 1, Ben Roethlisberger, guys, 249 games on his career played in Pittsburgh. Cam, 28 games behind him. Whether he's going to be able to make it a couple more seasons or not, I don't know. But, give credit where credit is due. I have my complaints about Cam, and so does everybody else. But at the end of the day, the guy has, that's some Iron Man shit, man. He just passed Mike Webster. So nobody besides Ben Roethlisberger has suited up and played on the field for your Pittsburgh Steelers more than Cam Hayward has ever done. So, you know what? That's recognizable. Good for him. Congratulations. And again, I don't know what his future holds, but 28 games, that's a few seasons. So I don't know if he's going to get to that next level, that Ben Roethlisberger level. A couple of things that else I do want to talk about, guys. Darnell Washington going in the beast mode. James Pierre, the game he had on defense, I didn't even know the guy had it in him. But you started to see improvement from Pierre every week. I think that led up to this game. Again, key breakups, key tackles in a scoop and score, guys. We'll take that any day of the week. That is some Minkah Fitzpatrick stuff. Also, what Kyle Duggar brought to the table is some Minkah Fitzpatrick stuff. So, am I missing Minkah right now? I'm not. Kyle Duggar, pick 6, takes it to the house. Again, Pierre, scoop and score. And we did on the overs and unders last week. Over and under was there going to be a half of a defense and or special teams touchdown. And some guys did say over. And they were certainly right, as we did score 2 touchdowns by the defense side. Guys, in the Steelers, they're 5-1 this season in games where they have takeaways, and they're 1-3 in games where they don't have any takeaways. So keep that in mind, guys. New England, a lot of takeaways. We won that game. Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Steelers 5-1 this season when they have at least one takeaway, and 1-3 again when they have 0 takeaways. Also, another interesting number for throughout the course of the game, guys, or through just the whole season so far, there's been 10 players to catch a touchdown on the Steelers this year. That ties the franchise record. So say what you want about Aaron and spreading the ball around, but if he finds one more guy, that's the most in our history of our team right there. 1933, almost 100 years. Aaron Rodgers is going to find more guys on this team for reception than anybody else, any quarterback ever has, sitting at 10 right now, with tied with the franchise record, looking for number 11. Who's it going to be? Spencer Anderson even had a catch. So again, to say the guy don't spread the ball around, he does. He has his own way. He definitely has his own way. Keyshawn Williams also concussed, guys. That's an injury that I forgot to mention. Keyshawn Williams, you notice he wasn't returning the ball completely, through the duration of the game. He's on concussion protocol. Again, Jalen Warren with an ankle. We're waiting to hear more scoop on him tomorrow when coach hits the air around noon. And finally, Aaron Rodgers' wrist. 3 injuries going into the game yesterday that could have affected us, but they didn't. On defense, guys, Alex Smith, he was out. Slay, he was out. And Holcomb still out being sick. The argument earlier with that was Herbig's too small to stop the run on the left side of the line, on the right side of our line. And you know what? I think Herbig is doing just fine. I really do. I'm not seeing. We got torched more last time against Cincinnati as far as the run game goes. And Herbig again, I think does he lead the league? I'm sorry, not the league, but does he lead the team in sacks? I think Herbig leads the team in sacks. So am I really missing Highsmith at this point? No. But again, when he comes back, just more good depth news. That's we knew Herbig is tough, but that just confirms what we already know. That's just more depth news, and we'll take the depth because at the end of the day, you need depth in the NFL, especially if you want to play in January. Because the teams that don't have depth, you could upend them in January. What else do we got here? Aaron Rodgers averaging his longest time to throw in the game yesterday since a game in 2016. 3.49 seconds was the amount of time it took Aaron Rodgers to get his throws off yesterday. Again, guys, that is his longest time since 2016. So certainly early on in the season, we were complaining, he's got to throw, he's getting hurt, he got to move, he's running. You didn't see a lot of that yesterday. So again, somewhat encouraging news about the offensive line. Cincinnati's defense ain't great, but still we got to crawl before we walk. And the one thing that he did was able to extend the time before he threw the ball. So again, that's somewhat encouraging. Will it change when the competition gets better? Of course. But for what it is, we can build off of that, and you like to see it. Again, 2016, that's almost 10 years. We'll take it. As I said earlier, if you just tuned in, Juan Thornhill has been signed back to the practice squad. He was cut last week after Coach Tomlin said he didn't have the stuff or the snuff or something like this. Juan Thornhill is back on the practice squad, actually, as we speak. So if you liked Juan, and I think a lot of people did, he's back. As I mentioned earlier, if the playoffs started today, the Broncos would be the 1 seed, and they would have the bye in the AFC. New England would have the number 2 seed. Indianapolis 3. Pittsburgh would also be hosting a game. 5, 6, and 7. Your wild card teams are Buffalo, the Chargers, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Guys, listen to those teams and think to yourself, well, geez, oh man, we might have a chance. Denver, the defense is good. I give them that. Didn't we just beat Denver last year? New England, didn't we just beat New England this year? Indianapolis, didn't we just beat Indianapolis this year? The Chargers, we shit the bed against, but we beat them last year. That's not too different of a. And then, of course, Jacksonville. I don't know if Pittsburgh ever wants to play Jacksonville ever again in the postseason, but Buffalo would be the team I would like to try to avoid if I can. And as of right now, they would be traveling to Pittsburgh in opening weekend. So let's hope that could change. Let's hope we can stay in, and let's hope a lot of things, guys. We still have a lot of football. Say what you will, 10 games in. We still have a lot of football. 7 games still to play. Still damn near 2 months. We well into January, and then we'll get started on the playoffs. So, guys, somewhat encouraged by what we've seen yesterday. Still, I think we're pretty much where most people thought that we were. I don't think that they changed any minds. I don't think people were coming in today saying, you know what, we are so much better. I think people still, people have a general idea of what we are. I truly do. I mean, fans, we're very familiar with this team. We know what we got. Day to day, we just hope to see things get a little bit better for us and whatnot. Guys, let me pull up some numbers. We'll talk about some numbers from the game yesterday. I think that, I think that there was some nice performances from some unsung players. Yesterday, we'll get into those numbers here just shortly, and we'll take a look at the numbers from what Joe Flacco and his Bengals was able to do in this Unk Bowl, this icy hot bowl, this whatever you want to call it. Any way you slice it, guys, we didn't lose to the Bengals. We didn't lose another game in a row. We didn't get swept by the Bengals. We found ways to get it done, and that's what we wanted the team to do. I mean, beyond that, we know the team. We know our team here, and we'll get to these numbers in just a minute, I swear to you. In the meantime, let me get where I am on my board. That way, if I could jump in on the board from time to time, I could certainly do that while I'm doing this. Right here. Juggles the third is trash. Juggles the third. I don't know. John says no. Rodgers had 250 once. Okay, gotcha. I think Roman Wilson is taking over wide receiver 2 is what Mark Malone is saying on the board. And Jamal, I'm right there with you. Who is Juggles? Who is Juggles? I don't know. Maybe they will say it on the board down the road. I'm just not sure who Juggles. Maybe Calvin Austin. Is he Juggles? I think he might be Juggles. Let's get into some numbers, guys. The team stats look like this. Yesterday, we won a lot on this board where sometimes we get dominated on this team stats of the day. The Steelers, 343 total yards on the day. The Bengals, 297, a big change from the 480 that they put up against us last time. Passing wise, 232 yards for us, 192 passing yards for Cincinnati, 111 rushing yards for the Steelers. The Bengals, 105, 5.7 yards per play for the Steelers, 4.7 for the Bengals, 22 first downs for the Steelers, 17 for the Bengals. I don't know if that's the first time that we did this year. It might be, but we out first downed them. Third down conversion. Last week, we only converted twice. This week, 7 for 13. Bengals, 7 for 15. Total plays, we have 60. They had 63. That's the one that we haven't won all year, total plays. We have not had more total plays than the other team all year long. Sacks allowed, both teams had 1. Punts, both teams had 3. Penalties, both teams had 8. They had 8 for 67. We had 8 for 76. They threw an interception and lost a fumble. We had no turnovers committed, and we actually won time of possession, guys. 30-05 to 29-55, albeit 10 seconds. We did win that battle. I think that also, again, is the first time that happened this year. Let's get into some individual numbers, starting with our Pittsburgh Steelers, guys. Aaron Rodgers, before he gets hurt, he goes 9 for 15, 116 yards, 1 touchdown. His backup, Mason Rudolph, comes in. Let me say Aaron's number one more time, just so we could all be on the same page. Aaron went 9 for 15, 116 yards, 1 touchdown. Mason Rudolph, 12 for 16, 127 yards, and 1 touchdown. Again, no, I'm not saying that we should throw Aaron. There is something about new energy. I give him that. The Pittsburgh Penguins do it a lot. Every time they get a new coach, they seem to win a Stanley Cup. I get the new energy thing, but just again, for what it is, Aaron Rodgers here, a short period of time, Hall of Famer. He's kind of doing this thing this year. I don't see him getting replaced unless totally necessary. Again, I know he's pushing to play against the Bears this week, but again, Aaron and Mason, almost identical in numbers, team A team, and B team. So again, I'm encouraged by the depth. I think that is encouraging what he was able to do. Again, the Bengals, I agree, it's not anything to write home about. But again, it is encouraging. So we're going to take it. Let's look at Jaylen Warren before he gets hurt yesterday, guys. He runs the ball 10 times for 62 yards. Kenneth Gainwell steps it up yesterday, not only in the running game, but the passing game as well. He runs the ball 9 times for 24 yards, but catches the ball 7 times for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. Caleb Johnson, 5 carries for 15 yards. Beyond that, just a couple here and there. Rodgers had a couple. Let's go to receiving. As I said, Kenneth Gainwell leads the way. 7 catches, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. Darnell Washington, 4 catches, 67 booming yards. I guess booming and gliding. He wasn't just booming. He was gliding in through the air, too, at some points. DK Metcalf, guys, 5 catches, 49 yards on the day. Everybody else, Jaylen Warren, 2 catches, 5 yards. Everybody else has 1 catch between Freiermuth, Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin. Will the real wide receiver 2 please stand up if we even have them? Are 2 people that are considered number 2 receivers. Calvin Austin, 1 catch, 5 yards. That's not acceptable on any level. Even if you're an Arthur Smith offense, you should have a receiver. Your second guy should have more than 1 catch for 5 yards. And Roman Wilson, 1 catch, 17 yards. Again, maybe those 2 can flip-flop. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see as things move forward because, again, Juggles, I think that's who they were referring to as Calvin Austin, 3rd on the board. Certainly not impressing. He's kind of gimmicky in a way. He's got to have space. He's small. He's compact. So he's got to have space. And if he can't get that space, you're really chucking the ball up there sometimes. If he doesn't have that, 2-3 yard lead on somebody downfield, I think it's a crapshoot. So again, 1 catch, 5 yards for Calvin Austin III. I don't like that. And Roman Wilson, 1 catch, 17 yards. Leading the way on defense, Patrick Queen looked good yesterday. He was injured just before halftime, but he made his way back in. 10 tackles on the day, 5 solo, 5 assisted. Pierre, a big day, guys. James Pierre, you got to give this guy credit. He goes 6 tackles on the day. I know that he had a couple nice breakups. He had the scoop and score late in the game that really blew it open. Eccles had 7 tackles on the day. Duggar, 3 tackles and an interception. Of course, that pick 6. Nick Herbig, 2 tackles on the day, 1 sack. That motor on that guy, I love him. Undersized, but you know what? He plays like he's 10 feet tall. And as far as any other specific numbers, TJ Watt, 1 tackle on the day. Cam Hayward, a half a tackle on the day. All the big money. Wherever all the money's tied up, guys, 1.5 tackles on the day against a very porous Cincinnati offensive line, if you will. I would like to see them play more like the players they're getting paid to be. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. Taking a look at everything else. Boswell goes 2 for 2 along with 30. He has 10 points on the day. Corliss Waitman, another near perfect day. Punting the ball, 3 kicks, 133 yards, 2 inside the 20. And then I want to flip over to Cincinnati. We'll take a look at that real quick, and then we'll move on. Joe Flacco this time goes 23 of 40 for 199 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. A little bit of a drop from last time. Brown, 18 carries, 99 yards. That's better than last time, I think. Yeah, he was over 100. So say what you will, we did stop the running back from going over 100, which is something that we've given up quite a few times this year, if I'm remembering right. Wide receiver-wise, T. Higgins, 3 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown. Fant, 5 catches, 36 yards. Jamar Chase, guys, just 3 catches, 30 yards. I'll take it. Who shuts Jamar Chase down for... with the defense that we have and the money that we're paying, it shouldn't surprise me. But again, guys, the guy that literally 16 catches, 100 and whatever it was last time, 3 catches, 30 yards on the whole day. So we did something right. We got the win. And then, of course, Geno Smith from Newcastle, just north of here. He was the leading tackler for the Bengals on the day. He had 8 tackles, 4 solo, and 4 assisted. So that's what the numbers look like as far as how the game went yesterday, guys. Let me get back on the board because I don't want to get too far behind. If I could just take a moment to find out where we're at. Mr. Juggles, here we go. I'm going to start right here. Big Pun says this at RB. At RB agreed 100%. Howard's type is mind-boggling. There's a long, or his hype. I'm sorry, his hype is mind-boggling. There's a long list of national title winning quarterbacks who failed in the NFL. Yeah, there sure are, man. Jamal says, "Well, why did the pocket look so much more clean with Mason there?" I don't know. I noticed that too, but it did. But in the same sense, the pocket wasn't bad. Aaron sure had more time yesterday. Again, the 3.49 that he was throwing at and getting his throw out yesterday is the fastest since 2016, Jamal. So, there it was better throughout the course of the game. But again, Cincinnati's defense, you got to put that into consideration as well. Feel still, yes, sir. Offsides is always talking about the left tackle for the Bengals. How is that never called? It drives me nuts. I don't understand how they don't call that. And I'm specifically watching. I got my face against the screen watching that ball to see if offsides every time. I don't know what the hell that's about. John says the Howard for quarterback is coming for the OSU fan base. Somebody made this comment the other day. They said, "Did you notice the more Ohio State people were getting on our team, the worse we're doing as a team?" I don't know that to be the case, but I do know that we've been drafting some Ohio State guys, and I didn't compare, but it sounded funny to me. RB says Ryan, they call the set step, and the league allows it. Gotcha. Why isn't everybody doing it? Why is just the left tackle for the Bengals doing it? You know what I mean? I'd like our guys to do it too. Maybe we could get a little advantage over in Broderick Jones's way, right? Kenneth says, "Sure, refs are an understatement. Sure, refs are an understatement. Sus refs are an understatement. What about the game-changing pass interference?" Absolutely, it's terrible. The refereeing is terrible. I mean, last week when DK got hockey checked before that ball got to him by about 3 yards. The week prior to that, where TJ Watts, the defensive lineman's head, whoever we were playing against, was clearly over the ball. They don't call that. You have a guy looking specifically at the ball. So I don't know what in the hell they're doing, but it's not good, man. These referees are fucking up. Or again, as it happened since the NFL jumped into bed with Vegas. I hope that's not the case, but all of a sudden, past 5 years, I think the officiating is definitely different than officiating I've seen in my whole life to this point. Phil still says set step. I saw a big ass movement. I know. He's like a glacier gliding across the Arctic. Again, how this isn't called. He's moving and everybody else isn't. That's my argument. RB says Cleveland lost the game due to Shator Sanders and his total inability to read a defense and lack of feel for the rush. You know what? One thing I did notice, RB, that he did well when he first came in, and I didn't pay attention too long on this, but he was looking at his progressions. And they specifically took time to show him. He looked 1, he looked 2, he looked 3, he looked 4, and they made a point. So from what I seen, for a guy getting his first snaps in the NFL, it wasn't the worst thing ever. I mean, he's a Brown. What can you say? There's no other answer for it. I was glad to get to see him, though. I was. John says the NFL wants to keep their quarterback starters to keep playing until the end of the season. Thus, linemen get away with jumping and holding. Yeah. And just what else is it? Is this leading toward the AI era? They did that in baseball this year with AI stuff for pitch calls. Is this where they're heading? Maybe, make the officiating a little more unpopular to make that move. I don't know. Jamal says, "Oh my God, seriously?" At RB, he's never had a snap with the ones in practice. He was set to fail. Big Pun says, "At John, they should know better. It's the same Will Howard who lost on his home turf to mediocre 6-5 Michigan." Yinzer Joe says this: the Ravens actually had to go for it on a 4th down, fake a sneak with Andrews, and he ended up running it to the end zone for the lead. If it wasn't for that, Browns had them. The Browns played a great game. I sat there and watched that game hoping the Browns would win to keep Baltimore off our asses a little bit, but it didn't play that way. I thought the Browns defense looked nice. Phil Steele says, stash, 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 go stash. Of course, talking about Mercury Mason. Jamal, I don't know, Princess, just don't let stupid shit get under my skin. I learned from Mike. Christopher, what's up, dude? Great seeing my man Christopher on the board. He says this, hey, guys, let me lighten up the chatter. Aren't all players allowed to get better? Like James Pierre, why can't you believe that Mason has gotten better? The offense was clearly better with Mason under center. I'm encouraged. If he has to play, again, from early on in his career, in my mind, he's just been there so long. By default, you think you'd have to be good enough to be a decent backup, which I guess isn't the case a lot of time. But I was encouraged. But I think as long as Aaron's there and Aaron is able, I think Aaron plays. I just think that that's the way the season is, unfortunately, if you're pulling for Mason. Tortilla says if Rodgers goes down, the game isn't over. Jamal says I think Princess was trolling Mike. Would that be? I don't know. I don't know who that Princess was. Did you know that person, Jamal? Phyllis Still says Christopher. That's what I told Fincher. Rodgers was sucking at it big time. The vibe changed when the stash showed up. And as I said, sometimes that energy is a good thing. The Penguins hire a new coach, they go to the Stanley Cup. It's almost like clockwork. So sometimes that new energy goes a long way. Vegas says Lamar is the number one passer rating leader at 103.5 for the players with 100 starts. You know what? I respect that. But as I'm watching that game, I'm thinking to myself, if he doesn't have a little something around him, like that there, if Derrick Henry wasn't there, because again, the defense isn't good at all. Derrick Henry is the one the thing that kind of keeps it neutral to where you can't really focus on what it is that Lamar is doing. Plus, again, they took his legs out, and he has to beat you with his arm, and I'm fine with that. Even with the rating at 103.5, is what you're saying. I just don't fear him the same way I did early on in his career. I feared the guy that could have just stopped at the drop of the hat, ran and gained 30 yards. That's what I feared. If we have to play the pass of Lamar Jackson, I feel better about our chances. I'm just saying the legs on the guy was what made him special, and he's a damn good quarterback with his arm. But the special part, I think, was those legs. I like our chances better if we're just facing the arm of Lamar instead of his legs as well. And Jamal, I couldn't agree more. He says, fuck the police. I came home and I played Fuck the Police. I played straight out of Compton. I was in a mood, believe me. Vegas says nobody ever sang Fuck the Fireman or Fuck the Ambulance. Yeah, they don't, with the police, they come there to help you. They're shining shit in your eyes and intimidating you. Imagine if the fire people came to your house and they started spraying you in the face with their hose. That's the equivalent. Well, we didn't know. We didn't know where the fire was. Titus says, number do you think we get 10 wins with Rudolph? I think, you know what, guys? Buffalo, Detroit, 2 Baltimores, Chicago, Cleveland, and Miami. Not in that order, but that's what we have left. I think that for this team, we could probably get 10 wins. Providing we split with Baltimore, providing we don't shit the bed against Miami, and providing we don't shit the bed against Cleveland. Jamal, did you see the police officer that got fired for? What a dick he was. Look at it. What's going on with people? Jamal says this. He says, did you see the the police officer that got fired for shoulder checking Nike Harbor during the South Carolina game? These police they're out of control, dude. And listen, if it was an accident, he took his left elbow and he swiped it at the guy on the left. Come on, people, be better than that. Why? Big pun. He says the vibe may indeed have changed when Rudolph entered. That often happens when the backup enters, but it rarely sustained. I agree. Unless it's a special thing, and how often you see that anymore? Vegas says this with Rudolph, no, but maybe. Oh, with Rodolph, maybe, but with Rudolph, maybe not, but maybe. I gotcha. John says Jackson also has a 84.6 playoff passer rating. But you know what, guys? With that being said, he was always doing good. As a matter of fact, he was winning the MVP when we beat the Ravens 8 times in a row. That's what I'm saying. There's just something. We know them better than anybody. You know, they could be good. We could be bad. We could be bad. Good. They could be bad. It's always going to be a good game. These two teams mirror one another. I always say Baltimore built their organization to compete with Pittsburgh in the AFC North, and it is what it is because we beat them 8 times in a row. And this was during Lamar Jackson's MVP run and this and that and everything else that he was doing great. I just don't fear him. His legs, I feared him a lot more when he was younger. I think we find a way to beat them at least once this year. The game I seen yesterday, that team was not a scary team to me. You just got to be able to figure out a way to stop Henry on that run, so they can't kill you with the run, and then you turn it into a one-dimensional game with Lamar's arm. I like our chances. Maybe not everybody's chances, but we, for whatever reason, have played that well over the past 5 seasons. Last couple have been rough, but again, that defense they got, that's nothing to write home about. And again, we keep adding players like crazy. Maybe we'll eventually have ourselves a playoff squad. I don't know. John says Jalen Carter had to pay $57,000 because it happened at the beginning of the game. I agree. I remember that. What was that? The first game of the year. Jalen Carter spit into his face. Beginning of the game, his ejection counted for the game suspension. Chase will miss a game and pay $57K or more, and rightfully so. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that needs to be kept out of sports. And again, I understand the emotions, and I understand that this shit happens. But as they do, and as the game goes, the league has to do their part as well and make sure that they do right by the players. So let's hope that is taken care of. And maybe an apology would be nice to our guy. Again, I don't know. Call me crazy. With that being said, let me pull up what it was that Mr. Jalen Ramsey did say in reply to this. Guys, give me just a moment. I can pull that up and give you the comments. I do have them. All right, this is what Jalen Ramsey said in regards to getting spit in the face. He snatched my mouthpiece off my face mask, and then that's when I pushed his face mask. That was just a little scuffle. The refs told us after that, hey, y'all chill, no more of this. Next play, same shit. We was talking the same shit, which I'm cool with, he says. Then as soon as he spit, I was like, fuck that. I ain't going to tolerate that part of it for sure. I'm sure the NFL, they'll do their due diligence. They have 100 cameras out there. They can investigate. They can see everything. I just told you all the facts. And again, Jamar Chase coming out and initially denying. But again, by just being a smartass, I know that he somehow ratted on himself in a weird way. Because again, double negatives, the way he answered it, he says, I didn't spit on nobody, which means, again, you did spit on somebody. So he did technically, not knowing perhaps, rat himself out, guys. But again, I seen the video this morning, and I encourage you to do the same. You're right. Our guy's right. Our team's right. He clearly spit in his face, dude. It wasn't cool. Again, it's just an ugly moment. It takes me back to Romanowski and T.O., and it's an ugly thing that I hate to think about. And unfortunately, you see it in football sometimes. These guys have all these pads on. They're all amped up. And the thing that comes to your head is just spit. And I don't know. I don't like it. Nobody likes it. So let's hope that justice is served and everything that's supposed to happen in this situation happens in this situation. Because, again, it will lead to stopping it in the future. That's all we can do, That's all we can do is hope that it's stopped in the future, guys. Let's take a look. See, also, what I want to do, let's jump and take a little break in the action here. I'm going to jump to the overall scores for the weekend, and we'll take a look at some of these games, see how they played out, see how they affect us. Again, the division, we do stay up top of the division with a 6-5 record, guys. Second place, Baltimore, falling. They go up to 5-5 in the division. The Browns and the Bengals are starting to fade into the night, just as I expected they would. The national media said that these teams are going to be in the top of the division. They said we would be fading into the night. Not the way it's playing out, guys. With one game left to go in this week 11, the Monday Night Football game tonight at 8:15, Dallas at Las Vegas. This was a hard game for me to pick, and it shouldn't have been a hard game for me to pick. Dallas is terrible, and I can't understand why they're this terrible. And the Raiders are very terrible, and that's the reason why it was hard. This should have been an easy pick in the way of Dallas, guys. I don't know what's going on over there. Let's get into these scores for this past weekend. The Jets, they fall to the Patriots on Thursday night. We talked about that at the end of the week. Early on Sunday, this one here over in, I believe it was Madrid, Spain, The Dolphins beat the Commanders in overtime. The Dolphins beat the Commanders in overtime. Sunday afternoon, the Packers, they get a close win over the Giants, 27-20. The Texans, a close win, 16-13 over the Titans. Another overtime game, the Panthers 30, Atlanta Falcons 27. I got to be honest with you, these were a lot of games that I had a hard time picking, and these scores will show you why. The Bears, our next opponent, they win 19-17 over the Vikings this weekend. The Chargers shit in the bed after the assault on our terrible towels. I didn't know about this. I read this morning. They made a whole thing about our terrible towels. Guess what? They go out and only score 6 points against the Jacksonville Jaguars, guys. Chargers lose 35-6. Buffalo and Tampa Bay, a good game. This could very well be a Super Bowl matchup, maybe. Buffalo ends up winning that game 44-32 over Baker Mayfield. Allen, 6 touchdowns, accounted for, I think, 3 and 3. 49ers, they beat up the Cardinals 41-22. The Rams 21, Seahawks 19. Broncos 22-19 over the Chiefs. I mean, come on, these games were great yesterday. The Ravens and the Browns, Shedeur Sanders making his debut, guys. I was happy to be able to see that. And also Myles Garrett. He had 4 sacks in the first half, 11 sacks in the last 4 games for Mr. Smiles Garrett, guys. So say what you want. This might be a down year for our guy, but their guy surely is putting up them numbers. And finally, the game last night. I was hoping it was going to save my day in the picks, and it didn't. I took Detroit. The Eagles win that game 16-9. Not a whole lot of action going on in that particular game. Again, Week 11 concludes tonight after the Monday Night Football game between the Cowboys and the hated Raiders. A couple of our rivals from the 70s for sure. That's a 8:15 start in that game tonight. And that wraps up Week 11. We'll be heading into Bears Week, as this is Bears Week, guys. They are 7-3. We are 6-4. We are 3-point underdogs heading off to Chicago already, guys. We are 3-point dogs, which makes sense. They're the home team. It doesn't really surprise you too much, guys. Again, Week 12, Chicago Steelers at Soldier Field, guys. We got a lot to talk about this week, and there's a lot of things going on with this particular game, and it's a big game. I mean, this goes a long way. One of the games that you think that you should be able to win, because once the Buffaloes and Detroits come around, those games might not be as easy. So I'm thinking Miami, Cleveland, one of the Baltimores, Chicago. These are the 4 that you really got to focus on and get these wins. I really do think that. Let me take a quick look. Jump back on the board here in just a moment. I gave you the playoffs. And let me give you what the divisions look like, guys, and then I will get back to the board here. So this is what the divisions standings look like as we speak, heading into Week 12, guys. The Steelers are in first place. They are 6-4. We are plus 12 now in the differential ratio, which we were under. We were under 500 for quite a week or two. Ravens 5-5. Bengals 3-7. The Browns just 1 game behind them at 2-8 in the basement. Patriots 9-2. Is Tom Brady and Bill Belichick back? I don't know what's going on. 9-2. Second place is the Bills at 7-3. I think the Bills are still a better football team. I think they beat them in January. I just do. Miami, they're 4-7. They are in third place. And finally, the Jets are in the basement with a 2-8 record, the same as the Browns. In the AFC South, the Colts still lead the way with their 8-2 record. The Jaguars climbing up the ladder, 6-4. The Texans hanging right around 500 with a 5-5 record. And the Titans are lowly Titans sitting at 1-9 in the basement. And then finally out west, the Broncos running that division, guys, 9-2. The Chargers in second place, 7-4. The Swifties, third place. The Kansas City Chiefs, guys, 5-5 with the same record as the Texans. The Houston Texans, the Baltimore Ravens, the Chiefs, and finally the Raiders are in the basement in the West. Finally, over in the East, the Bears, first place. We play one more time, a first place versus first place game for us. The Bears took over first place with their 7-3 record. Packers 6-3-1, Lions 6-4, Vikings 4-6 in the NFC East. The Eagles up top the division with an 8-2 record. Cowboys 3-5-1 in second place. Commanders 3-8, Giants 2-9, In the NFC South, the Buccaneers lead the way with the 6-4. The Panthers a half game behind them. Who would have thought that? The Panthers a half game out of first place. Falcons dropped to 3-7, and the Saints to 2-8. And finally, out west, the LA Rams, who may be one of the toughest teams right now, certainly out of the NFC, they are sitting at 8-2. Seahawks 7-3, 49ers 7-4, and then the Cardinals, of course, 3-7, guys. So, if anything, if you could say anything about this year, it's certainly been a crazy year in the NFL. I'm here for it. I'm loving every minute of it, guys. We're in first place. The Pittsburgh Steelers, we beat the Bengals. We figured out how to turn it around and win that game. You know what? We're celebrating this Victory Monday. We're going to be getting ready for the Bears this week, as it is Bears week. And you know what? We'll see where the chips fall. Guys, the Rams and the Bills, to me, look like the two strongest teams in the league this year. And you know how that plays out. Sometimes it doesn't go the way you think. Sometimes the two best teams don't get there. Maybe they get eliminated before we get a chance to play them, and things play our way in January. Happens sometimes. Guess what? We played the 1, 2, and 3 seed in 2005 in the playoffs, and we had the worst offensive line in the league. Nobody thought that team was going to win a Super Bowl. Yes, we had Ben. Yes, we had Bettis. But we had the worst offensive line in the league, statistically. And they beat the 1 seed, the 2 seed, and the 3 seed, and then again, the 1 seed in the Super Bowl. So, I'm just saying. All hope is not lost. You don't feel great, but all hope is not lost, and that's something. It's something to hang on. So let's get back on the board here, guys. John says this. I'm sorry, I'm going to go right here. Vegas says this: plenty of good quarterbacks have poor passer ratings in the off season or in the offs. Look at Ben or Favre or Moon or Marino. Kenneth says, I think early season Aaron is gone. The hits are making him nervous wreck in the pocket. His play is declining. I could agree. He doesn't look as chipper as he did early on. John says Vegas, true. Ben never played well in his in Super Bowls. Yeah, there's one play he did. I can remember one. Vegas says this: the 95th annual Lot Lizards of America is holding a convention in Vegas today, so Vanilla won't be making an appearance on today's show. Maybe that's where he's at. Maybe he's at the Lot Lizards convention, and I can't say I blame him. Let's see, Christopher. You don't realize that our defense held them to 12 points. We shut down the second best wide receiver tandem in the game. The first being the CeeDee Lamb. I could meet you halfway. And my reason for meeting you halfway is because the offensive line for the Bengals is all backups. Everything they have so many rookies, so many backups, and their defense is the worst in the league. You know what I mean? It's just not a really good team. Yes, we were, and that's what I told Mike last time. As long as we don't let these two guys beat us, they have 53 guys. If we could find a way to keep these two, talking about Higgins and talking about Chase, we win this football game. What happened? We let Chase and Higgins beat us. So, but yes, I agree. The defense did play well. I'm not taking anything away from that defensive performance. I'm not taking anything away from James Pierre. I'm not taking anything away from Kyle Duggar. I'm not taking anything away from Nick Herbig. The defense played really good, and I do agree with you, but I kind of got to meet you halfway on that just because Cincinnati it's really a bad team. Perhaps we should have played better. Perhaps we should have scored more points had we had our ducks more lined up in a row. Perhaps. It's hard to say. Jamal says holding that offense to 12 points does say a lot about our defense when we do play the right way. You're right, man. When it's done right, when things are getting done right, boy, we're scary. I think at least 50% of the teams would love to have our defense, maybe more. Yinzer Joe says this: Rudolph and Rodgers basically had the same stats against the bad Bengals defense. That just doesn't mean that Rudolph played better and deserves to start. He can manage games, but I don't think and I think it's premature with the Rudolph talk. It went well. It went well, right? And again, I think it was encouraging. But at the end of the day, I think you want your number one in there, unless shit totally falls apart and hits the fan, and it hasn't in entirety yet. So again, I think you still wait to make that move if you can. If he's not healthy enough to play, talking about Aaron on Sunday, then you start having that conversation. I think. But as long as Aaron Rodgers is here and he's capable, I just think that it's going to be very. It's going to take a little bit to get the other guys in there. I just do. It is what this team is this year. This is Aaron's team. Say what you will. Joe Rudolph and okay, got that. Phil still says my comment on yesterday's game. The Steelers D played good and again and scored points to bail out a 3-and-out offense again. Then the stash comes in and the vibe was different. Great win, yay! We'll take it, my man. I love it. I'm gonna get the grades here in a second, guys. I see the grades coming up on the board. Vegas says this Cam can make it next year, maybe even more since his game is based on strength, not speed. Phil still says overall grade B plus. Game ball, James Pierre. Hey, you stole that right out. You stole that. You put your hand in my pocket, Dawn, and you took that from me. Just kidding, man. I'm taking James Pierre as well. I've been excited about James Pierre the past couple of weeks, and to see him get that scoop and score, that was it, man. Loved it. Tortilla says James Pierre channeled his inner DK, and Thornhill has to have Art Rooney's nudes or something. Yeah, he's back. Thornhill's back. Donald Lurie, what's up, dude? Great seeing Donald on the terrible board. He says we had Jerome Bettis, the bus, and now we have Darnell, Big Rig Washington. That's right, baby. I'm telling you, go refrigerator Perry with this dude. If we're on the 1 yard line, screw Aaron's throwing the ball for a touchdown to whoever. Run the ball with Darnell Washington, guys. There's not many people that's going to be able to stop him. I mean, you get a couple of hogs in front of him, moving the line. That guy, for one, getting him in the backfield is one. For two, being able to take him down. For three, having enough guys in the backfield with you to help take him down. Slim, have this guy go, push, fall forward, reach the ball. I think we're scoring a lot if we do that. We turn into we have our own beast. We have our own tush push. This is going to be something that other people aren't going to be able to replicate because they don't have a 6'7", 290-pound guy. You know. Push comes to shove, don't be afraid to do that. I wouldn't be afraid for 1 minute. They did with Refrigerator Perry. Again, you've seen the way guys were bouncing off of him. It was like they had water repellent and it was raining and people were just bouncing off the guy. I loved it, man. It was a true Steeler moment. That will be talked about as Vance McDonald's angry run was about 5 years ago, as was Najee's angry runs. This one might be the best I've seen yet. So we'll be talking Darnell Washington run for quite some times. I do think so. John says Caleb Johnson hasn't caught a pass this year. Yeah, I saw that. I guess they're just trying to smooth them in, run, and we'll work on that later. I don't know. I don't understand why guys running backs have such a hard time catching footballs. You never caught a football, dude? You've only been playing. You're only a professional football player, man. That shouldn't be the biggest challenge for you. It just shouldn't. Tortilla. Okay, we got that one. Phil still says stash. He's still going on the stash. He loves the stash. He loves the Mason Mercury, if you will. Vegas is 1 catch for 9 yards. Might as well be 0 for Caleb Johnson. Kenneth says this. I think the hits and the trash talk by Ramsey got into chases. Absolutely. He was in it, dude. 3 catches for 30 yards. Is that what it was? Come on, man. That's shutting the bees down, especially from when he was able to do it to us last time. Somber, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Somber on the terrible board. He said they're talking about Calvin Austin III because he juggled the ball once, brain dead. Okay, I get it. I know the play. I seen it playing out on the board as we were going. Is that what that's about then? Jamal says that's what juggles is. Shaking my head. That is corny. Yinzer Joe, Valdez Scantling, wide receiver too. I don't know. We'll see. They've been weird. Our Steelers have been weird with this. Mike Williams last year. What a weird situation. I can't imagine that Juan Valdez Scantling, of course, Marquez Valdez Scantling is going to be less weird situation. I just watched this and I see this playing out like Mike Williams did. And at the end of the year, we'll be saying, why did we even get him? What was the purpose? If he steps up and does great things, I'll be glad to be wrong. Happy to be wrong. Somber says Pierre still balling all year. I agree. Good for him. Somber also says 3 catches for 30 yards, a suspension, a fine, and the loss. Hold that shit. Absolutely. Jamal says lost all respect for Chase until he apologizes. That's the thing. It's hard to, because I mean, These guys are so competitive, and I mean, we see bad shit all the time, and everybody does. But I think he better apologize, right? And it would just suck if he didn't. I don't know. I kind of agree in a way. Looked like a false start from the top. Absolutely, all game long. Somber said lying and that was the part too when he lied about it at first. I mean, they don't like Ramsey said, they don't have 100 cameras. They're not going to be able to see this. It's very obvious, and he sure did. LOL. Tortilla says, I don't know, man. Players get called up to start all the time with no practice with the starters. How many excuses are going to give this kid? Literally every mistake Shador makes is excused. I think about this Shador. I don't follow him enough. I know what's going on up there, and I like to see him play just because. But I don't know what the story is, so I can't really comment on him too much. I was excited to see him. Jamal says this, LOL, dang, that loss was on the defense. They were up. They were. They looked good all game until the end of that last couple drives. Bingo, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Bingo Winchester on the board. He says, crazy how much better the passing game looked when the quarterback can actually roll out of the pocket, huh? With all that extra time, too. 3.49. Quickest release for Rodgers since 2016. So that's that's saying a little bit about the line also. Somber, my man, he says, I'm hoping to see Howard and Cleveland or in the Miami game, providing we're leading by enough. Yeah, absolutely. And not just for the victory formation, right? I like to see him throw a couple footballs. Vegas says that cop dude was the senior on JV. Yeah. I wish you could have seen this guy with all his lights. Like a fucking unbelievable. I had a burnt out headlight. Tortilla, those state trooper hats max out your asshole state. You ain't kidding. You're not kidding. Vegas says nasty Ohio teams. And again, you are not kidding. The board is on the money today. Bang, boom. Bingo says this. So he spit on someone like a bitch, then didn't have the balls to own up to it. Yep, checks out. And again, I always go back to Romanowski and T.O. I mean, they were two great football players. I think that, the right's going to be made. I think the right's going to be made. I don't want to dislike this guy for the rest of his career because he's amazing. I love watching him play football. I hope he does the right thing and the league does the right thing and everything works out. It's unfortunate. Mark Malone, then the guy that gets spit on, they ejected. That's bullshit. Absolutely. Absolutely. Kenneth says spitting on someone is not about sportsmanship or being a gamer at all. That's street you're right. That's what I was telling Mike yesterday. I said 10 out of 10 people, 10 out of 10 guys are going to punch you in the face if you spit in their face. Rightfully so. Mark Malone says they could have seen that shit on replay. I think for such a call like that, maybe they should have taken a look at it. I'm just saying. They don't want to take time on the small stuff, but this is, again, how often does a guy spit in another guy's face? Mark Malone's, Somber says, I like how Cam had Jalen's back. They did everything he was supposed to do in response to stopping something like that. Paraphrasing. Jamal says, big facts. Also saying Cam the GOAT for that. Me and Cam Hayward have such a love-hate relationship. I mean, he's a guy I want on my team. Don't get me wrong. But then there's another part of me that we're putting out a lot of money. Mad money that could be going to other positions and, improving the team in other areas. And if Cam has a half a tackle like he had yesterday, Jamar R. Kelly, Tortilla. Speaking of which, where the hell is Cody anyway? I need to talk to Cody. I wanted to talk to him about this ASAP Rocky. He was giving me shit on Friday. I looked the guy up. The guy's damn near older than I am. I was like, I gotta talk to that Cody. He's no longer ASAP Rocky. He's AARP Rocky. Guys, we're gonna be in the We're gonna be in our 40s at the same time. If that gives you any indication of how he's not quite the young guy that I thought he was. I'm just saying. Let's see. Vegas says I'm losing by 12 points to a team that started Joe Burrow, Brian Thomas Jr. and Scary Terry. Jamar Romanowski. See, that's the thing, with Romanowski. He was just such a passionate player, as Chase is. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong, guys. It's a really fucked up thing to do to another grown person. Any person. You shouldn't spit in anybody's face. But I loved both of those players, so it's hard to do the right thing. NFL. That's all I want to be done. Jamal says AJ Brown is still crying about touches. What a shame. Also, Jamal says, let's go. Ryan got me hyped. Yeah, Phil is still my man. Let's get up here. I got a few more things we're going to get into, guys. Let's do some grades. I'm going to do the grades with you today because Mike is not here. Usually I ask Mike and we go through the grades. Guys, I want you to help me on the board today, figure these grades out because it's just going to have to go that way today. Guys, grading like a school system would grade A, B, C, D, F, like the report cards. This is how we're going to grade our team for their play yesterday. Throw your score up, throw your grade up on the board. We'll go through these and see how we think that the Steelers performed yesterday against the Bengals in that revenge win that we needed. I think, my opinion, that was a must win. We went out, we won. That game kept us in it another week, guys. Let's get into some grades. The quarterback play, guys, throw up on the board. What do you think? What do you think that the quarterback play was for the Steelers yesterday? I'm talking Aaron Rodgers. I'm talking Mason Rudolph. I think at the end of the day, Aaron didn't play well. But he still managed to get a touchdown pass. I think Mason came in and played well. He got a touchdown pass, matched the numbers. What do you give? What do you give the quarterback play for the day? Throw your thoughts up on the board. I'm going to kind of just move along as I do. I'll talk about each one, and then we will throw your numbers up. Throw your letters up. I'm sorry. Running backs. Jaylen Warren came out with a 35-yard run in the first quarter. I thought this was going to be a Jaylen Warren day. It just wasn't. He hurts his ankle. He goes out, comes back into the game. Didn't quite get back to that level and then left the game. Kenneth Gainwell gets a lot of yards through the air. And then also Caleb Johnson getting some carries. How does that running back room look for you? Tortilla is saying a B, a solid B on the quarterback's play yesterday. How about the running backs, guys? Throw that up there. Tight ends, were they there? Were they invisible? Did you know they were there? Did they make a difference? Pat Freiermuth, not quite the game that he had last time against the Bengals. Jonnu Smith, again, we're all still just kind of just waiting for some Jonnu Smith to do something. The little spud nugget, what's his name? Meatwad, Connor Hayward. He did what he does. He came in for a tush push. He was valuable in that sense. And finally, and Darnell Washington. How can you forget about Darnell? Guys, what do you give the tight end room? I think 3/4 of the tight end room was Darnell Washington might have been my player of the game. Pierre Washington, I'm going to have to decide that here really quick soon. Also, what else we got going on here on the grades? Wide receivers. Nothing too fantastic as far as wide receivers goes. Again, number 2 gets 1 catch. Number 3 gets 1 catch for the day. I would say that keeps the grade kind of low as far as the receivers go. Washington, Mark Malone is giving him an A. Jamal gave a C+. I think that was on I'm not sure what that was on. Also, Tortilla says I'd give the running backs an A, tight ends or a C. Let's get to the offensive line. Guys, again, Aaron Rodgers, he had more time to pass than he had since 2016. That was the last time we won a playoff game. Guys, offensive line, I think they played well. If Warren would have been healthy and stayed in the game, he might have had 100 yards the way he was moving against that Bengals D. I give the offensive line a passing grade, again, giving the time for Aaron Rodgers and also giving Jaylen Warren plenty of space to run the ball in the first half. Okay, no, that's cool, Jamal. He says C+ on the overall grade. You're cool. Also, defensive line. What do we think, guys, about Keanu Benton? What do we think about Cam Hayward? Y.A. Black? Derek Harmon? We held their running back under 100 yards this time. We applied pressure. We made some things happen. We got sacks. I thought the defensive line played pretty well. Maybe a B. Nothing fantastic, but offensive line, Jamal is saying a C-. Linebackers, Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson. Them guys are laying the sticks. Herbig, nice sack. TJ Watt still left a little bit to be desired. I thought that against that particular situation, the Bengals backups, he could have been more productive, while his counterpart Myles Garrett was putting up 4 sacks in the first half of the game against the Ravens and 11 sacks in the last 4 games. Maybe Watt could step it up at some point. I'm just saying. I'm not bad-mouthing. Just at any time now, dude. The defensive backfield. What can you say about these guys? The Bengals murdered us last time. That back end on the defense looked pretty good, guys. Two defensive touchdowns off the backside of our defense. So I got to give them guys an A. There was not much I'd seen that I didn't like from our secondary. Let's go to the special teams. I don't think there was anything special on the special teams yesterday. Nothing too crazy. They didn't show Danny Smith running around chewing bubble gum. So I think it was an average day. Nothing bad, nothing good. So let's give them an A, right? Tortilla says DBs get over 9,000 A pluses. I love that. Nothing like I've ever seen in my life on report cards, but I love it. Mark Malone gives them an A. John says Washington, Cleveland, out with graduated with straight A's. How about coaching? Anything from coaching? Any comments from coaching? I know things got a little rocky on the show last week, and it's certainly not the turn we're going to take today. But any comments on coaching? And the reason I'm asking in the manner that I'm asking is because if people say, let's say we lose next week, people are going to say, well, where were all the people that wanted coaches gone last week? Where were they at last week when we won? So that's what I'm saying. If you feel that you have an opinion on the coaching, anything extracurricular, I'm not really interested in at the moment. Anything on coaching, if you have a good take, if you have an interesting take on that. Again, the offense put together, the game plan by Smith, and the defensive plan put together by Austin and Danny and Coach T, and throw it up here. Interested to see what you guys think. And then the overall play of this team yesterday, not considering who it is that we played, I say you got to give this team a strong B+. There's not much few things you like to see different. The injuries kind of, shit on the day for us a little bit overall, but that was certainly a strong B+ performance. So there you go. Mike Tallman gets an A. Arthur Smith gets a B. Terrell Austin gets a C. Danny Smith gets a new pack of gum, says Tortilla. Jamal says Arthur Smith's play calling is still sus. Okay. Also, Jamal saying Mike T for life. So there it is, guys. It was a good game. We're going to take it. You know what? We're going to get ready for Chicago as we look to head into week 12. We are 3-point road dogs. 3-point road dogs against the Bears. They're 7-3 coming into this game, guys. We'll be playing at Soldier Field at 1:00 on Sunday and hoping to up our record again to 7-4. Now that's not starting to sound like such a bad number anymore. 7-4, starting to get a little bit better, guys. Let's stack them and again, win the ones that you're supposed to win, as yesterday was. I don't care what anybody says. That's a game that the Pittsburgh Steelers are supposed to win. We should have won, and we did win. So we're going to run with that. We're going to love it. We're going to enjoy in this Victory Monday, as we do every time our team gets a win. Let's get back on the board here as we're starting to round third on the show. Not sure where we're at, so I'm going to go right about here. I think this is where we're at. Kenneth says the Panthers' Bryce Young threw for over 400 yards yesterday. That's pretty amazing for a guy that can't see over the line, right? And good for him. They're looking good. Panthers are looking good. Bingo says this Lot Lizards convention. Don't kiss him on the mouth. Jamal, man, fuck Rudolph. He's a bum, and so as he gets full of himself, he throws picks and makes dumbass decisions. Phyllis Steele says Heinz Field did go nuts when 2 got onto the field. Yeah, he did. But that's a Steeler thing. Every time there's somebody not playing perfect and you put that backup in, they act like the person's God. Mark Malone says, let the fracture heal up. Magnum can handle it for a couple weeks. John says, I am digging Duggar. I am too, man. I like Duggar a lot. He's given us a little bit of what that Minka Fitzpatrick gave us early on. we've been missing. Jamal says, yeah, I love James Pierre. He's been a dog. I've called it all year. I have too, man. I've been hoping on him. He's kind of been the GOAT, or, the GOAT in a bad way for the past couple of years for the Steelers, but he certainly picked it up back in the secondary. And a lot of people always said, he stinks. What's he doing in there? He really picked up again, especially yesterday, guys. A couple nice pass breakups, a couple nice tackles, and a scoop and score will always get people's attention. Jamal says this. Ochocinco said he wants to fight. Yes, he wants to fight Washington now for his team, for doing his team like that. I would pay to see Darnell Washington and Ochocinco go at it, guys. Ochocinco was no slouch. Believe me, the dude was always in tip-top shape, but age is kind of going against him now. And, you've seen the guys bouncing off of Darnell Washington. I'm right there with him. Donald said this. He says, Caleb, 1 catch for 9 yards against the Colts. Jeez, that's his only catch on the year. John says, no, K. Johnson can break the number of receivers who have caught a pass record. Okay, gotcha. Jamal says, Shador doesn't play, so I don't know how we could excuse him. We just want to see him get an opportunity. I was happy to see him play, to be honest. I kept thinking to myself, Dylan Gabriel's such a schlub. I can't believe they're even keeping this guy in this long without giving the other guy an opportunity. John says, okay, I Googled it, and it read Johnson has no catches, but the game stats read that he has 1. Gotcha. Jamal says Cam is overrated. I agree. For that money, again, a half a tackle is what you brought to the table against that offensive line. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying too, Jamal. I figured he would. But you know what? I'll get him tomorrow. I'll get him tomorrow on that the ASAP Rocky thing. He was really letting me have it. Yeah, let him know. Let him know. Cody's at gym skipping leg day. What else, John? The NFL wasn't going to justify Ramsey punching a guy. Absolutely. The punch is going to certainly be addressed as well. But the guy that's spit in his face, the instigator, he should certainly be. It should be more. I mean, come on. I mean, the punch wouldn't have happened if the guy wouldn't have spit in his face. And again, show me 10 guys that won't punch you in the back. That's what you get, man. That's what you get. You spit in somebody's face, somebody's going to fucking deck you, man. Or worse. Jamal said this. I think TJ slowed down after the roughing the passer call. I think he felt bad about it. Tortilla, okay, with all the grades. John says, okay, we got that from John. Also, Tortilla says this. Okay, we got that one as well. Phil the Steel says, I'm still on it. Steelers coach is sucking. I hang it up on Teflon Dawn. Tortilla says, I guess I owe Austin credit. He gets a B. And finally, Jamal says this. I did not like the Jack Sawyer was guarding T. Higgins. Me neither, man. Talking about a mismatch. My God. Rookie linebacker with possibly the best wide receiver in the league. Let me see if I am missing anything. Dude, the most important part, guys. If you had kids at the house, did you notice it was 6'7" for like the longest time? Yeah, if you had kids, believe me, you heard about it. My goodness. At the beginning of the game when Cincinnati, they took Y.A. Black with the penalty, gave the Bengals a closer conversion. They missed a 2-point conversion, so it was 7-6, 6-7 forever. And then a man that was 6'7" was jumping over people and running them over. Something about that game yesterday and the 6'7" guys. I know my kids and everyone that I've talked to surely dealt that. And could you imagine all the Steeler fans everywhere with their kids running around 6'7"ing? Jeez, oh man. You know what? We'll take it though. A win is a win is a win is a win. And if you get a win, we'll even throw some 6'7" in there for you guys. Still the Kings of the AFC North. Everybody, let me give you some other interesting news around the Pittsburgh area, and then we are going to get ready to start wrapping up for today. The Pittsburgh Penguins, they were over in Stockholm, Sweden this weekend playing the Panthers on a 1-1. They lose on Friday 2-1 in overtime, the Penguins do, but they come back on Sunday and shut down the Predators 4-0. They will continue to play on Friday when they get back home from Europe against the Wild. Will be coming to Pittsburgh. That's a 7 o'clock start. The other football team in Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, our soccer team, of course, they defeated Rhode Island 1-0 in their big conference championship. They are going back to the championship game for the second time in the 30 years. They will be taking on Tulsa. That's Saturday at noon for the USL final. In college football, my Pitt Panthers, they bit the shit. Pitt bit the shit. We had Aaron Donald in town retiring his number. We had Tony Dorsett in town talking to the crowd. Also, even Pat McAfee. The best day in Pittsburgh. I got to be honest with you. The big win over at Highmark Field, ESPN College game day for Pitt. Even though we lost against Notre Dame, and then the Steelers win, guys. It was a great weekend here in Pittsburgh for our sports. Penn State, they end up getting the win, guys, with a 28-10 win over Michigan State. Pitt plays Georgia Tech next on Saturday at 7 o'clock. Penn State plays Nebraska at home also on Saturday at 7. High school football, Aliquippa, DBU, guys, all these Hall of Famers. They have the high school that has the most Hall of Famers in the NFL. Aliquippa, they win their game over number 1 McKeesport in the running back, who is one of the top running backs in the country, was shut down by Aliquippa. The Quips win 21-12 to become the 4A WPIAL champions. They will be off to the state playoffs next to play Oil City at Slippery Rock Friday at 7. We are live. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. every day right here on the tube. Do check out our website at www.the2wyinzers.com, www.the2wyinzers.com. I say we do. I say we do. I think we beat the Bears, Jamal. We'll get into that all week. We'll see what it is that we have to do to beat the Bears. But I got to be honest with you. I say we take a little bit of a hot streak. It's the games after that that start to scare me. It's the Buffaloes. It's at least one of the Baltimores. Detroit. These are the games I'm really, really concerned about. The games that I think that we should win. Not givens, but we should win. Cleveland. Miami. One Baltimore game in Chicago. So providing we win those 4 that we should win and maybe get one of the wins against one of the teams that we shouldn't win against, you know what, maybe, just maybe, we can make some things happen. It's hard to say. A lot of football left. Let's focus on the Bears, but I do think we beat the Bears, Jamal. Yes. Also, Jamar Gibbs is a freak. I'm watching this game last night. He's a freak. That's all I got to say about that. Also, Jamal said this. Damn, I didn't notice. 6'7" is demonic. Yes, maybe that's a conversation for tomorrow. We'll get into. I agree more. There's interesting things going on in this world around us everywhere. Let's see what else. We do got the trivia, guys. Put on your thinking caps. Let's get ready for how well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent, guys? Today, starting Bears week, this is going to be a Chicago Bears question. Here we go. The smartest people I know are on this terrible board. Let's see if they can answer this question of the day. Here we go, guys. The Steelers' all-time record against the Bears is 8-19-1. Now you got to consider this goes back to a million years ago, because the Steelers, between 1933 and 1967 weren't much. So a lot of that goes into this. Steelers' all-time record against the Bears is 8-19-1. But my question to you today is, guys, this is the question of the day. What is the Steelers' record versus Chicago in the Super Bowl era? The only thing that matters. Nobody cares about this shit before that. All time since 1933, Steelers record against the Bears, 8-19-1. But I'm looking for, guys, can anybody tell me not even the whole record, just give me the amount of wins. What's the amount of wins the Steelers have against the Bears in the Super Bowl era? We'll call it the modern age. Take a minute to think that over, guys. This is it's kind of a tough one, but I'm only looking for the amount of wins. I'm just going to keep it simple. I won't make wins and losses and everything else here. What do you think? What is the amount of wins that the Steelers have since the Super Bowl era against the Chicago Bears? 5. Jamal is saying 5 on the board. Vegas is saying 7 on the board. Anybody else? Throw your opinions in. Maybe you might know it. Maybe you might know this, guys. Chicago, what is our win? How many wins do we have against the Bears in the Super Bowl era? Feel the Steelers saying 5 as well. Jamal at the 5. Vegas with the 7. Throw your answers up there, guys. If it's a guess, if you know it, whatever. See if we could get this right. Again, all-time record against the Bears. Not good, because 33-67 was what it was. 8-19-1. But I'm looking for how many wins the Steelers have against the Bears since the Super Bowl era. A few different answers on the board. 5, 7, 5. 7 is a total guess by Vegas. Not a bad guess. I'll give it a few more seconds, guys. Throw your guess up there if you think that you know it, or even if you don't know it. Phyllis still says Google. He says Vanilla is literally Googling as we speak. He is Googling the answer. Oh man, guys, the answer to the question of the day is this: the question. We're 8-19-1 all time against the Bears, which goes all the way back to 1933. But guys, the only thing that matters is the Super Bowl era. I think we could all agree on that. Unless you're a Browns fan, they want all their championships to count. Freaks. The answer is 7, guys. The answer is 7. We are 7-8, so not much better, but still a little closer to 500. We could be a 500 team against the Bears with a win this coming weekend. 7 wins, 8 losses in the Super Bowl era, all time 8-19-1. Bears used to be a powerhouse back in the day. Got to think of it that way. Guys, I do want to say, let me start here. If you hadn't had a chance, swing by any of our social media sites, guys. We do have social media presence all over the place. Swing by Facebook, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and even TikTok. Swing by, just hit the follow button and keep up with what the Two Dumb Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. Also, if you haven't had a chance yet, down below, hit the like, sub, share, and even leave a comment if you like. It helps us in the algorithm, and we appreciate it greatly. Thank you. And finally, guys, I hope you enjoyed yourself. I know I sure did. I do not catch any football game anymore without having our Duquesne Pilsner. Certainly here in the studio. If we're watching a game in the studio, it's automatic. Great beer to drink on game day, made right here in Pittsburgh. Good friends of ours that certainly support us and do promote us in their advertising as well. We appreciate it greatly. I do want to say thank you to them, guys. Made right here in Pittsburgh. It says right on this can, guys, grab yourself a Duke. So do that and show them some love. Swing over to them on Facebook or wherever they may be. Hit the like button. I'm sure they'll love that. Right now it's like right where I would say, Mike, what about you? Do you have any questions? But I'm gonna try to start wrapping it up. Phil says that Vegas. He says Vegas Googled it. Also, Jamal says, man, this is the best time of the day, bro. Appreciate the time and content at Ryan. I'm like, hey, no problem, my man. I feel the same way. There's no time that I look for more than to talking to you guys. So it's mutual. This is an us thing, dude. It really is this show. And I really appreciate and love everybody that's involved. And as I said, Mike is he's taking care of business. He'll be back, man. He will be back, and I will certainly let him know. Bill still says, cheers, Watt fans. See you on the flip flop, my man. Always great seeing you. I do want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly, really, truly, honestly do appreciate each and every one of you. We really do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much from everybody at the Two Dumb Yinzers. Everybody on the board, you guys are amazing. You'll always keep things interesting here on the show. Thank you. And then even if you're at home, just by yourself, earbuds in, maybe you're at the gym, maybe you're at the mall, wherever you may be, work. Thank you too if you are listening. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time. Again, Mr. Coach Tomlin will be giving his updates tomorrow, so we'll keep on top of injuries and all that information that we are trying to find out heading into this Bears game, guys. Again, this is the biggest game of the year. The one that's in front of us. It's the only one that we have control of right now. We'll figure out what we got to do to get this win, what we got to do moving forward, and a whole lot more tomorrow right here on the show. So we hope to see everybody then at our regular time. Gang to you, my man. Always great seeing you on the show, Jamal. Tortilla, peace among the world. Yinzers, absolutely, sir. Everybody have a great Monday. Again, Monday Night Football tonight, 8:15. The Dallas Cowboys, I would think, should be able to beat Vegas, right? We will see. That game is an 8:15 start. Do check that out. Tomorrow we will get into the CBS Pick'ems and more. Some interesting things went on there. We'll get into that and so much more tomorrow. So, guys, please do have a safe Monday. Beware the fucking cops pulling you over for headlights and every other stupid thing, man. Have a great day. Have a great Monday. Stay safe. Enjoy the game. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to go over everything and get ready for Chicago next week as it is Bears week. For myself, for Mike, for Derpy, Finch, everybody here at the show, I want to say thank you so much. Have a great Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.